Well, happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Unnamed Podcast. My name is Eric Taylor, Barricade Cyber Solutions. Thank you for joining us. As always, on the Unnamed Podcast, we got to do a couple of disclaimers. Everybody's who's here are the opinions of themselves and not of their company. This is completely unfiltered. Political correctness is checked at the door. So if you get easily offended, do not like cussing and or drinking, you may want to just stop watching now because there may be some of all of that, plus a whole lot of spiciness to come in. With that said, let's bring everybody in. We have Mr. Shiva Maharaj, Mr. Brian Weiss with iTech, which whatever, and the
Bam, come on,
number one
in the galaxy.
in the galaxy, and Mr. Andy Aloha. I always butcher your last name though, don't I?
Oh, you butcher it good all the time.
All the time.
Aloya,
Aloha.
like an Italian lawyer.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
For some reason, I keep thinking it's Hawaiian. I don't know why.
Oh no, yeah, straight Italian.
What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh man, it's been a good week. We got a 4-day weekend, 3-day weekend, 3-day weekend.
For some of us, unlike me, it's like another day that ends in Y the way the things are going so far today.
I'm super happy. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I got plans. I don't know what they are, but I got plans. So.
I need your cell phone number because I just need to randomly text you.
Okay. I can send it to you.
What are you doing? I'm still stuck here at my damn desk.
Oh man, sucks to be you. I'm burning down my neighborhood. So, oh God.
What's up, Brian? I know this is going to be a very hot topic of things for you today.
Yep, I was just getting my headset going here. Sorry about that. Tech debt, man. I mean, this is like front of my mind. I've got my rose-colored tech debt glasses on at every vendor I look at now.
You would tech debt, I swear.
If only there were a group of people that would tell you not to use a vendor and you'd actually listen to them instead of having to wait 3 months to actually listen to what they told you. But I guess you need to find people to tell you that, right?
I just chalk that up as my entrepreneurial stubbornness, and sometimes I just have to learn the hard way, right? Don't we all sometimes? Maybe.
On occasion. Not wrong.
I mean, best lessons are learned when you learn things the hard way. So.
That's true. I mean, I went with ConnectWise Manage at one time, but learned that is more of a beast than I think anybody really will ever want to admit to.
I mean,
and now you're on Kaseya.
Yeah. Now I'm using, the consolidated product that Kaseya now has since purchased.
So, but before we jump into tech debt, right? Because I feel like half the people, when I say tech debt, they're like, "What the hell is that?" I mean, it's really
a term you came up with. Congratulations.
No, it encompasses a lot of things. Like here, I'll give you some examples. I look at the security that my clients are behind on that they haven't wanted to install yet or get up to par as tech debt. I look at legacy products that my clients are using to run their business that requires me to still have an on-prem server as tech debt. So I really look at everything from a lens of tech debt now. And ultimately, as I grow and scale my business, I don't want to grow in ways where I'm taking on more tech debt that I have to deal with later. Because tech debt does not drive revenue. When you get rid of tech debt, it doesn't drive revenue unless you're the one getting rid of the tech debt, obviously, right? If you're the one getting paid to get rid of the tech debt is what I meant to say.
Well, so let's further define tech debt, because there's tech debt, like you kind of explained, which is like clients, they have older, outdated firmware, softwares, security, that kind of stuff. But then there's also the tech debt that, as us providers buying software or packages from vendors, which, I mean, it's kind of a debt in that sense is we have too much of an investment in our packaged software, and it's hard for us to change or make
it's
changes.
Not that hard.
Or it's not. Yeah, I mean, by packaged, I mean like a vendor. A vendor supplies a software package. The software package is hard to change, or make changes to.
And to be clear, it really depends on the industry that the client is in, right? I've said it numerous times. Manufacturing not going to ever get rid of on-premise. I don't care what monkey you decide to beat off at it in the middle of the night. Manufacturing's not getting off of on-premise solutions. They may use a ton of hybrid, but being rid of on-premise.
Well, and that's fair, but on-prem isn't necessarily indication of tech debt. When was the last update written for the piece of software that they're using? Like
most of the time, 2003, 2005.
Yeah.
If you're talking if you're talking ICS, probably 1995.
Yeah. Does it support USB? Right? Like there's things that newer
USB
versions
via
of software.
serial port.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, serial port to Ethernet. Yeah, we still have several clients that we cannot even put a gig switch in because it'll just fuck the network.
I'm going to tell you what every MSP will tell you, Eric. Just VLAN it. You'll be okay.
Oh,
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Make sure you turn off auto negotiation. Turn off all the stuff.
And for those of you looking at Eric, that is a toy pew pew.
That's a toy pew pew.
So, I mean, to Andy's point, though, right? Like I'm using a PSA that I just feel is clunky as hell. It's an old framework. The API calls that you have to make to it are ridiculous. So it's hard to interface with things. And it's just, I'm literally supposed to be a leading IT company and I'm using a clunky, out-of-date software to run my company. And it's causing maturity issues. It's causing efficiency issues. It's causing things, to fall through the cracks because we can't truly track from point A to point B because we have all these disparate products that are all made in different times.
Brian,
if I may,
one
trying
second.
to integrate. Go.
Joel, challenge accepted. Back to you,
No,
Brian.
we're not going full ASM or whatever the hell that thing's. No, we're not doing all this. No, hell no. I will cancel this shit right now. Fuck all that noise.
No, I think a lot of that, at least in the tech sphere, and Brian, I mean, a lot of that in the tech sphere has to do with acquisitions and consolidation. You see, there's a lot of acquisitions always going on. Of course, the biggest one this year, probably for most people that are in the space, is that Kaseya bought all of Datto. But again, where did Datto get all of its products? Datto bought Autotask. Datto bought CentraStage.
You can answer.
Right? And then rebranded it.
No, they built it from the ground up.
I used CentraStage prior to Datto's acquisition, right? Did things change when they acquired? No, not really. Did things maybe get fixed a little bit with some bug fixes? Yeah, a little bit. But to your point, the software stack that is currently out there on a lot of these products, the underlying software stack's all the same with minor changes. It's just a better polished UI. But that doesn't mean if like people requesting feature enhancements and things of that nature. Do things actually change? Generally, no.
I'm glad you bring that up because I got an email this week from a feature request that Brian wanted the Datto mothership to change, and the status was changed to fuck off. We're not doing this.
Is that something you could talk about now, or is that literally a hush hush type thing?
Big swig.
I'll fucking talk about anything. It was Brian's feature request.
I mean, I don't know if it's part of his partner advisory board. It's under NDA and all that bullshit, or what.
I'll tell you right now, ever since Datto went public, the whole idea of an NDA is kind of a joke because they're never going to tell us anything that can't go public anyway. Right? I mean, they were getting bought out when they freaking
like, you mean the deal was going to close at the end of the summer?
Yeah.
Not last week.
So it's rare that I attend like a partner advisory board at Datto where they're telling us stuff that can't already go public, right? And it's just the nature of a public company. But yeah, is that the SaaS protection one? I hope it's
actually not. They're not public anymore.
Oh, they're not.
Did they pull the MSP ticker?
I don't know if they pulled it yet, but if the acquisition was completed, Kaseya owns it, they took it private. That was the entire purpose of the transaction. But no, Brian, this was the contact group thing for the PSA. that you wanted us to vote on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Should we talk about that or no?
I think it goes
That's
to
a very good example, though. It is a very good example of what it
Tech.
is in the industry currently. So, I mean,
Well,
take it
so-
away.
Eric, what's your audience like? Hey, people in the audience, if you're not against it, just throw in what you do. Are you a analyst, an intelligent, whatever it is you do, so we know who we're talking to here, just so we can
Most of them
tailor
are
the
in some sort of
concentration.
most of them are in an InfoSec space.
So
Okay.
can we define what MSP is to begin with for the people listening?
Most of them will probably know, but managed solutions provider, aka fuckhead.
I was just going to say MSP, managed services prostitute, is a billing model of you give me money every month and I will tell you how proactive I could be. If we boil it down to its basic.
Yeah,
Do
that's
we have
basically it. Yeah.
Right. So it's not something that's defined hard and fast. I kind of have an MSP. Andy, he's got an MSP. Brian's value-added MSP.
I
See,
feel
Joel,
like-
you're an MSSP. You're one step above the MSP Pizza Tech. So good job.
I feel like there's an easy question you can ask any MSP to know what side of the fence they lay on, right?
Do they
And
sell
it's like,
WebRoot?
Exactly.
well, I would go as far as saying, hey,
God.
do you
God.
use a framework like CIS to
Yeah.
understand all of the security gaps that you're dealing with? Yes or no, right? And if they're like,
Are you talking about this, Brian?
Yeah, CIS, what's that? Or NIST, what's that? Then you know, okay, you're a trunk slammer at that point, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think any mature MSP today, to be able to call yourself an MSP that's doing the right thing for your clients, you need to be tying things back to a framework.
Brian, I'm going to say something here, and this might be a little incendiary, but I've come across some MSSPs out there that are nothing more than a VAR reselling stuff and pretending to know what the hell they're doing.
Yeah, because they're just
I've seen a
reselling
lot of
security
that.
services, right?
Right, but they're actually calling
lot of
themselves an MSSP.
And they're
Well, I
nowhere
mean-
near close.
Yeah. So I mean, let's just define MSSSP. I made through too many
You
S's.
bought an extra consonant.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take more things that I'll fuck up on this podcast for $500.
Wait. Are we playing Wheel of Fortune now?
I was going to say
We need to add some vowels into
I-
these acronyms.
I'd prefer
Somebody
something
buy one.
like Jeopardy, or it's like fuckery for 500, Alex.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of the vendors will go to the MSP and say, "Hey, you can use our software, and now you're an MSSP. You're a cybersecurity firm. You're doing this. You're doing that."
I feel like the definition of an MSSP for me is that you have security analysts on staff. You have your own SOC on staff. You're not outsourcing it. You're dealing with your own EDR telemetry, creating your own mousetrap. You're not basically passing the buck off to some other SOC that's third party that you're just reselling. To me, that's MSSP when you got your own in-house SOC.
Exactly.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's why a lot of them are just VARs that are calling themselves MSSPs, because they're just selling some other solution. They're selling, this is not to slam any particular company, but they could be reselling Blackpoint Cyber or SentinelOne or was that Scott's, or I forget the freaking name.
I mean, that's one of the things that really, again, first there was the MSP moniker that kicked off and went like wildfire across the entire, the vendor industry. And then now the new moniker is MSSP, and just about everybody that has a security product is saying, "Hey, if you buy our security product, you're now an MSSP."
Stop talking about Vigilant like that. It's not like they put that on our website. God damn it. Hey, Joel Belton, what EDR/next generation antivirus Kool-Aid are you guys running, and what is your SIM, if you don't mind me asking?
And if Joel, you can send that to me on LinkedIn. I know we're connected and communicate on LinkedIn a little bit. So if you want to take that private, I could pass that around. Keep
And
that
by
in
you by no means have to answer me.
Yeah.
No,
I've
it's
been
just-
shrinking, so it's not really like you need to answer me.
Yeah.
I have not heard of Sim Monster. That almost sounds like some sort of travel agency.
I will Google that later
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's
when
That's
I
gonna
have more
send me down
blood
the
in my
road.
alcohol stream.
Lord. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think getting back to the whole tech debt issue, I mean, there was a lot of, I mean, even antivirus providers, right? How many of those have been passed around?
Joe. Okay.
I mean,
Well, yeah. I mean, take a look at
I mean,
Sophos.
seriously, if we're talking about tech debt,
Yeah.
how many antivirus engines have been passed around from company to company?
Mhm.
well, if you believe
And
WebRoot,
you expect those to be current?
if you
you
believe
expect those
WebRoot,
to be-
everyone stole theirs.
Yeah, of course. Everybody.
Well, see, take a look at
Sophos.
Sophos. Yeah, thank you.
Sohos.
Yeah, when you install it, there's all these different services that are still running.
Listen,
It's just a
there's
big mass of
nothing wrong with having
bloatware.
35 processes that suck up more memory
Yeah,
than
yeah.
Chrome. Okay, Like,
So
come on.
So I
Let's
just
just
counted.
make sure you have an i7 and 32 gigs
Yeah.
of RAM on that machine to make sure the user doesn't notice.
So I just counted
I need more
16
beer. I'll be back.
processes because yes, I am running Sophos on my machine right now. I haven't switched to CrowdStrike yet, but
That's because you suck.
How dare you?
But to Eric's point, Sophos, right? They started out as a company, bought all these other companies, and rather than redeveloping their code to basically wrap those new companies' services that they bought into a single agent, they basically just throw it together like a sandwich. And then you end up with 16 processes running on your computer that are doing all these different things that were technically all those separate companies they bought, just all in a single installer now.
Please
right?
tell me, is Hitman Pro still a service or a process still running?
I think I
laugh.
saw that. Let me check.
Dude,
Yeah.
if that, I almost guarantee you it is.
I mean, because there's been AVG has been passed around here in the last couple of years. There's another one that got passed around as well.
Panda
couple
Security,
times.
that's now under WatchGuard.
Yeah. And then the whole managed workplace thing, that was a great on-prem system at the time, but it's so
as much as I'd love to sit here and shit on vendors, which I think everyone in this room knows I can do, to my heart's content. What's the solution?
So yeah, good question.
Using enterprise. You know,
Well,
using people who
I
are
mean,
I
actually
mean, even
adopting-
enterprise has their issues.
Yeah, but they're not
I-
multi-tenant. How will the MSP survive without having a community of crowdsourced fuckery?
They have to redo their thinking. I mean,
Oh, you
a
mean
single
they-
pane- a single
they
pane of
have to
glass.
think for themselves?
I got the answer.
Oh,
We
boy.
just shutter our doors for the next 2 years and wait for Microsoft to catch up.
So
Done.
here's
I'm
an
gonna have a
interesting
very
thing.
busy 5 years. Thanks.
And Eric, you
Just-
might get a kick out of this. Company I consult for, they got popped with ransomware a few weeks ago. Microsoft Defender, ATP, or whatever the hell that SKU's name is these days.
Mhm.
Penetration came via their 365 tenants. So effectively, the ransomware operator, and I forget who it was, one of the big boys, was able to effectively neuter Microsoft 365's ATP. So why are we keeping an antivirus product that is in band with single sign-on or access from a global admin within a 365 tenant, especially with the proliferation of what I would term gold cell ticket breaches?
Well, so that does bring up some good points. So the biggest thing that I've always had against Defender ATP was the inability to enforce anti-tampering. So taking the 365 tendency out of the equation, you know, if you just pop inside the local domain, you could easily shut Defender ATP off on there, and Bob's your uncle.
Or if
Yep.
you have access to the firewall, block the telemetry.
Mm-hmm. So, you know, and WebRoot has some of the same problems too, to some degree, with, you know, being able to deploy in mass scripts from their cloud console. So, but I mean, when we talk about tech debt, and you're bringing up ransomware.
I like Joel. He uses CrowdStrike. You're good in my books, buddy. Don't let anyone tell you differently.
That's true.
CrowdStrike. But anyway, but it seems like even ransomware groups are, using less tech debt, if you will. Lockbit with their new version 3.0 has got a bug bounty program.
Yeah.
Eric, what is the one thing you and I always said? Well,
we've said a lot of things.
What's the one compliment we've always given to the ransomware fuckers?
They're resilient.
Spear, man.
They're resilient and far more dynamic than any IT provider out there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like when they fuck up, they learn.
Well,
when an IT provider fucks up, they go to Google, Reddit, Slack, or Discord to figure out what they should do, and then they just keep fucking up.
Yeah.
I mean, if you take the illegal activity out of it, they are a bug bounty, industry. They're basically finding bugs in software and exploiting them and making money off of them. So you either have your own bug bounty where you pay people to find them for you, or they eventually get found by threat actor groups. And then
what about
exploited.
insider threats? Was it Conti, Eric, that was levering insider threat?
Yeah, I forget. Lapsus Group was also insider threat.
Lapsus was big on insider threat, and so was this guy. What was his name? Manus. You know what I'm talking about, Eric? Manus Scott.
Oh yeah, Manus Scott.
Fuck.
So it starts with an M, but Mantis, I think.
I mean,
I'll get it right now for you. Hold on.
Insider threats at that point, you're dealing with behavioral analysis, right? I mean, what does this user normally look like, and now what are they doing that's different?
I think it's different. I think let's take a vendor. Let's say all of us use the same vendor, and that vendor has someone who goes into Discord channels and talks about one partner's account with other MSPs.
Oh, we know where this is going.
That's a point of leverage.
All right. Well, you're right. I mean, I was going.
No. Hold on. Let me get the fuckery out here. Let me get the fuckery out
here.
Yeah. It's a point of leverage. So let's say there's a Conti or whoever figures out that this guy is talking out of school, shouldn't be doing it. Now they have leverage over that person. That person has a senior position in this company whose credentials give him access to many different things. And this vendor doesn't even track who accesses what. There's no real RBAC.
Okay, well, that's the point I'm making. If you're not doing that RBAC, then that's a gap, obviously, right?
But don't you think that's endemic in the MSP vendor space?
I think that's a lot more far reach. I mean, I think
100%.
Definitively. I mean, there's so many vendors out there that just do not have the ability to shut their access off from their clients.
Forget access.
And it's all because of tech debt.
How about just telling me who accessed an account?
Yeah.
Actually
just even logging the shit. Just even simply logging that an access was made.
But they can give webinars on how to secure buttfuckery.
So why did audit logging take so long
to
come
Hunter?
to the
MSP
industry? That's a good question, right?
I'm sorry,
audit
Brian.
logging.
I was busy giving Hunter props. What did you say? I'm sorry.
I know we're talking over each other like a bunch of unprofessionals. Why did it take so long? Yeah, we'll blame it on that.
There we go.
Am I back?
Yes.
Can I get my question out? Why did it take
I just
long?
had to get you back for the Pac State call yesterday.
Why is it taking so long for proper audit logging and role-based access, zero knowledge, zero trust to hit the MSP vendors?
I don't know, man. You're on their partner advisory boards. I'm not. I'm not giving them. I'm not going to pay a vendor. I'm not going to pay a vendor to develop their product for them.
Well, I'll tell you why. It's because the average MSP that's out there who's not mapping things to frameworks like they should be is not asking for it.
And they don't fucking care.
So big companies like Kaseya say, hey, our partner base isn't asking for it. That's not going to be a revenue driver for us.
Yep.
Brian, I'm going to go a little personal. I'm going to go a little personal here. So tell me, shut the fuck up whenever you think I should.
Shut the fuck up.
You and I have had this conversation numerous times as to, I think, where at least my perception of you as an MSP is in the space. I think you're at that top 1 to 5%. And same thing for Andy, Eric, and the guys in that Zoom room. Like, you put more emphasis on security. You put more emphasis on process, framework, and all the other buzzwords we can throw at this shit. But if you take your total agent count, it's a drop in the bucket compared to the $50 minimum fucktards that proliferate most vendors. So they're not selling to you.
Oh, I
They're
see where you're
selling.
going.
They're selling to the fuckers.
No.
While you're
Lowest common denominator, man.
they're selling to the guys who are running to where the ball is, whereas you're running to where the ball is going, or at least where you think the ball is going. And I'd rather a provider like you than a provider who is content with the community and could go on Reddit, they can go on Slack, they can go on Discord and crowdsource their support for something they're already sold, even though they have no fucking idea what the hell they're doing. And I say this with peace and love, of course.
So what makes you think that a small MSP is going to be able to grasp these things with the limited amount of resources, technical aptitude, and the amount of hours in a day?
It's not the
When you
size,
go,
man. It's the motion of the ocean.
oh baby, here we go, Pornhub. But when you go with a couple weeks ago at RSA, everything was zero trust, zero knowledge, and next gen. AI.
Raise your hand if you think zero trust is marketing bullshit from marketing companies. Okay.
Because nobody's
We're
I
really
mean, a lot of it is. A lot of it is. I'm not saying all of it is, but a lot of it is.
The concept is phenomenal. The implementation that is being sold is absolute fucking horseshit and bullshit.
Yeah, yeah. There are a lot of things that you should be doing that basically do not have to do anything with a lot of the software that's sold that can help just implement the basics of that. I mean, the absolute basics of that. So yes.
My biggest hard on for zero trust is the fact that vendors have been able to separate it from zero knowledge.
Well, it is two different things.
It is two different things, but how do you have zero trust?
No, how do you have zero knowledge without zero trust?
How do you have zero trust without zero knowledge?
Yeah,
you have to have it.
It's like, guys, you can't trust anything, but trust us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Eric, are we allowed to get incendiary here?
I don't give a shit. Go for it.
Okay. Roe versus Wade.
Oh boy, he went incendiary.
I know where he's going.
He struck that.
Tell me now to shut the fuck up, and I will.
If you're going to go where I think you're going with the top,
I don't know where the article. I kind of messaged you about it a couple weeks ago, or a week or two ago.
Let's go there. Okay.
Okay. So whether you're pro-life, pro-choice, I don't fucking care. Your opinion is yours. Go fuck yourself.
Like we said, political correctness.
What happens when menstrual cycle data apps and GPS locations are going to be subpoenaed for the purpose of prosecuting abortion?
So see, I was studying this, right? And I still don't understand the premise of the subpoena. So if you have apps that are
you told Susie you were pregnant, and 9 months later you don't pop out a kid.
Eric, so right now, if you're riding a bicycle in an area where homicide was committed, right? The cops will go to the cell providers and say, who's in this area?
Yep.
Right? They will get whoever was in that area. This has been happening. And people have been prosecuted with murder that had nothing to do with murder.
Because they were in that general
vicinity.
Did you read John Wetzel's write-up?
No.
Implications of the Roe versus Wade decision as it relates to vendors.
No, I have not.
Loosely speaking, and I'm not quoting John. If you want, Eric can throw it in the notes and you can go read it there. But basically, you have two issues at hand here. You can be prosecuted for getting an abortion if they subpoena your data and they found that you had one, right? That's one way to look at it. And then someone else can be prosecuted for helping you to go get an abortion because of data they subpoenaed. Now, I want to focus on the data here as it relates to zero knowledge and zero trust. When are we going to get just that? I haven't seen that, but what I would say is that all you need is a young, enterprising prosecutor who wants to go after everyone, and they can write their own ticket.
Yeah, make a name for themselves, but yeah.
So,
yeah, but back to the data.
and I want to keep this on the data because I think whatever someone thinks is their personal opinion.
So you're telling us there really is no such thing as zero knowledge.
Well, let's take Datto, for instance. Okay. And Eric, I know you do some stuff with Jess. I don't know if you want to bring her in. I mean, whatever, if she doesn't mind the cursing. But anyway, and I curse a lot, Jess, and I will not stop. Brian, let's take Datto, for instance. When I bought their RMM, they said they can only see level 1 data, which is, the basic stuff. Manufacturer, chip type, RAM type, nothing identifiable. Then they rolled out their ransomware canary bullshit that doesn't work, that Eric fucked in like 2 days after launch. And they said, oh no, it's not gonna do that kind of behavior.
Let me just say that it does work for certain cases.
It don't fucking work.
For certain cases, it does work.
Yeah.
In some cases that your AV should already be catching.
If you're a ransomware operator and you don't have the technical aptitude of Eric J. Taylor, then Datto ain't gonna fucking work. But that's not my point here. My point here, dude, I got a lot of piss and vinegar stored up. But anyway, my point here
bring my chips.
How about the pops of popcorn?
I like salt and vinegar.
The challenge accepted, Jess. So anyway, where I'm going with this is Datto's new data collection has been increased because of the ransomware product. And how many MSPs do you think have read their EULA or their amendment, addendum, whatever you want to call it, to understand what kind of Datto is now able to compile because of the ransomware canary, or the ransomware canary, whatever the hell you want to call it?
It's a lot.
They have full access into everything now through that one piece.
Well, and then they bought InfoSight, and that's going to get integrated even further. Basically, instead of a separate agent, it might be a separate agent.
But let's be honest, InfoSight is worth shit.
It's going to be installed through Datto RMM, is what I mean.
But it's still a piece of shit.
So, here's the point I'm making, and I love that we're segueing into this topic. Who thinks an RMM does way too fucking much? And why would I want my security software to be wrapped and baked into my RMM? That's what I'm wondering.
I'll tell you why. Because that is the Kool-Aid that Datto will sell you.
Well, here. I mean, I think it's twofold. It's a matter of the average MSP has the under 150 user count. True. I mean, you're talking. No, I mean.
That's what I was told by Datto. They're like, hey, we understand this product may not be for you at your maturity level, but we know a lot of MSPs out there that are going to love this.
Right. So I mean, but there's
because they. Sorry, go ahead.
The biggest problem is the whole thing of the actual demographic they are targeting is not enterprise, is not large scale. It's not anybody that we even care about. It's literally the sub 100 demographic. Which to be fair, let's think about it from their shoes for a second. They're charging on average $4 to $5 an agent at that point, right? That is a big ass freaking profit margin.
Datto list is $225, man.
But
no, I thought it was $5.
Do you realize
$225?
Do you realize what you just pointed out, Andy? That MSP vendors are the cause for why there's so many damn MSP trunk slammers. Ultimately, it's a regurgitating circle of bullshit. You've got their target market. There's people that aren't educated well enough. They don't even know to ask for the right features. So they want to make revenue off of an uneducated market that then turns around and makes their product accumulate a ton of tech debt over time. And it's this constant, just revenue grab is all it is. If they dealt with more mature MSPs and actually cared what they said, they would be able to lift themselves up even into the enterprise space where they might get some focus there,
But I mean, on the flip side, who are they competing with on the enterprise space?
I don't think they're even smelling the enterprise
That's a major hurdle that they're going to have to overcome.
Well, I'll tell you right now, what enterprise RMMs are there out there? Because I'm selling Datto.
Nobody wants to put a command and control system that can be owned by a 12-year-old. Hunter
There is-
in the chat here can probably own an RMM with Eric being his father. Am I wrong?
Just, hey, Dad, hands the iPad. Thanks, it's unlocked. All right, great.
Think about Hunter as someone with an aptitude for this. Dad does it. Dad has all the tools on his computer. All he needs is his father's login for his computer, and he's got a treasure trove of tools to go start banging on doors.
Yeah.
He's
Thank
motivated.
God.
He's a smart kid from what I know of him.
Thank God I got multi-factor on all my gear. That's what I'm going to say. Even getting into my computer, you need MFA. So,
oh, man. Oh, good.
But yeah, so there is one. I don't know if they're enterprise or not. They seem like they're enterprise. I don't want to put it out there just yet, but the one that I was talking to you about, Andy, they're earlier
Oh,
today.
yes.
That one does seem like it may be an enterprise RMM.
I think they're a little bit more focused in that direction for sure.
Yeah.
definitively.
I'll go ahead and say it, but absolute.com is
Vodka?
no, not vodka. So Jess says that she wants to come here, so I'll give her this link here.
Yeah.
I will not stop cursing.
But
So-
I saw your disclaimers in chat. I am not going to stop cursing.
Here's the crazy
Oh,
thing
Tinnitus
too.
sucks, by the way. It
What's that?
really sucks. I listen to too much loud EDM music overseas, man. It's just, it sucks. It really sucks.
But
You're
And
gonna
and I
make
can't
me
even
lose
get
my
the
train
3M
of thought,
payout that
Andy.
everybody keeps telling me about.
to get back to some of your topic there, most of these products that are being sold are being sold to people who are not going to put it through the due diligence like I would.
Yeah, but you're a
make
unicorn in this case.
Well, hold on. Let me think back to my first year in business. Okay, my first year in business was literally I need to get money, right?
But how many people stay in that mindset that you were in your first year?
Now you got to understand, there's a lot of dumb people out there.
No, tell me more.
Look at any national
Absolutely
crisis.
dumb
There's
people.
full of them on
No,
TV.
I'm not saying they're dumb because they're dumb, but
And
simply
how else would they be
dumb to the security aspects of life.
Well,
How
and they
many
need
times do we
convenience.
get phone calls from our clients saying, "Why can't I install this? This is a
I don't
basic
get
thing,"
those.
and then it's Wave browser.
Oh
Or it's
God,
some other stupid shit that they try to do. That I mean, but you got to think there are people out there that say I want to do computers, and they are slightly smarter than their grandma.
Are you talking about
Right.
Geek Squad?
I mean, Geek Squad is a good example, sure, but I mean, but they're smarter than their grandma, and they're smarter than also Jane and Joe down the street.
You
Mhm.
sound like you're saying there's no barrier to entry.
Absolutely,
Zero.
there's not.
And I'll tell you why.
Absolutely, there's not.
And it's
I mean,
exactly
and to be fair, when I first started out with CentraStage and even Hound Dog before that, it was $1 per agent. Okay, you could turn around and sell that for $5 a month, which I saw it dime a dozen all over the place. It's real easy. There's almost no barrier to entry. And for an extra $1, you got Viper antivirus, right?
Andy,
Right,
you need to
no,
hurry
I-
some
So
shit
why
up. We
not?
got
My
some
point
hands.
being is it's so easy to enter this space. You're
So,
going to see a ton of these types of
it's-
people pop up.
it-
Hey, yeah,
it's-
we offer the AV, we offer the everything else.
You
Let's
are from the
welcome
army. You
Jessica
look like you're in a
Bishop.
bunker.
Jessica Bishop has entered the room.
Woo woo.
Whoa, whoa.
So I was having a conversation with someone from Microsoft recently, and it started off because I was taking over a client, and this client had a single Microsoft Business Premium license, and then they had about 175, whatever the $12 license is. So I'm talking to the guy. at Microsoft.
Business Basic or whatever. Yeah.
What gives them email and the applications, right?
Yeah, I think
But they
Business
had
Basic.
a single Business Premium license to give them everything else.
Mm.
And I'm talking to this person at Microsoft that I know pretty well. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? How are you guys dealing with this? Because you're losing a significant amount of revenue.
Yeah.
And he told me, he's like, listen, it's on our radar, but
Yeah.
we're losing so little money right now compared to market share that we're gaining, we don't care.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a
Revenue-based.
known thing that in Microsoft, you can put everybody at Business Basic, Business Premium, whatever, and put one user at an E5, and all the tenant things open up for everybody that's inside that tenant. That's been there for a long, long time.
Can I do elephant in the room? I'm just going to spit it out because I've been trying to since Andy wouldn't shut
Spit,
up.
don't swallow.
Don't do that because it's against your partner agreement. Elephant in the room. Don't do that.
I'm doing it.
It's okay. We know you're a spitter, not a
No,
swallower.
I mean, reference to Microsoft. Go for it.
Elephant in the room is we have enterprise versus SMB is literally convenience versus security. SMB.
I beg to differ.
Well, hear me
Oh,
out,
please
brother.
do.
Hear me out.
You know that rubs me the wrong way. Please get on your knees and start begging to differ.
Hear me out. Small business, when they start out, they need efficiency. They need efficiency. They need convenience. Just like Andy said, they care more about, I need to make money to pay my bills, right?
Yeah.
How can I get this done the quickest, the
No,
most
I mean,
convenient?
that's absolutely true, though.
Let me finish, brother. Larger enterprise.
Every time he says brother, I think of Hulk Hogan.
Brother. Large enterprise, they can't afford to be complacent because they deal with such large clients that if they piss off the wrong client and get sued, they can go out of business. Datto, Kaseya, look at their MSPs. They piss off one MSP. You think they're going to go out of business? No.
No, they couldn't go to Enable or Connect.
Yeah. Enterprise has to be held accountable. And because they realize the risk, accountable. They realize the risk.
You're eating everybody else.
And they realize the risk in doing it wrong or taking shortcuts. So they can't do that, right? But they also understand that along with that comes less convenience. So there's more clunkiness. There's more politics and bureaucracy involved. And that's why it takes longer for bigger companies to get things done. They're less convenient. They're less efficient, but they're more secure because they have more risk.
Well, see, to push back on you, I mean, take a look at Bank of America, take a look at Citibank, take a look at all these financial institutions that have been popped over the past year.
Dude, Experian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
thanks, U.S. government, for protecting my interests.
Who's leaked more data than Experian has?
I'm talking about enterprise security vendors. Those are banks. They don't provide security.
They're under regulation.
They're under regulation, but they're in the business of storing your money. So they're outsourcing a lot of that security, right?
Eric,
they're not going to have that internal.
Yeah, we're not going to wait. We're not going to shut up and wait for you to say something. Just send it.
They all get insurance, right? Do they have an antivirus product installed? Oh, good. We can check that box.
Wait, does it have MFA installed?
Yeah, security does not eat.
We don't even need MFA. What are you talking about? We don't even need passwords on our computers.
Everybody in
that box. It's okay.
Floors 5 through 8 use the same username and password.
Yeah, just check the
box. You got one monkey in the corner hitting MFA authentication codes.
And this is why I'm a VAM, because all these big enterprise companies need our help and direction, right? Their internal IT departments are overloaded. They don't have time to be trained and keep up with all this stuff.
That's why they need a VAM like you, Bri.
That's what I'm saying.
Have you been your Datto girl lately?
I haven't, but
his Datto is no longer a Kaseya.
I pulled that off after I think I hurt Tim Weller's feelings when we were on a call together, and he saw that and he said, "What does that mean?" And I was like, "I don't know. It is what it is."
And what does that mean, Brian?
What does that mean to you exactly?
That is one of the most dangerous phrases out there. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No.
All right,
so what's going on, Jessica?
I don't know. I just I'm getting my first job in cybersecurity. I just signed up with a company to be a SOC analyst. I am so excited.
Now, was that from the GRC course or?
No. It's with Ideal Integrations. It's with networking and community and all this other stuff that they keep telling you to do to get a job in cybersecurity. And
nice.
Not by submitting 5 billion applications that just go to a garbage pile. So, it's really cool to see it all just finally come to fruition. It's, I've been watching you all on various podcasts and streams and stuff throughout, the past couple of years.
Anyone with a lot of letters after their name is probably full of shit.
Yeah, I mean,
I would agree with that. I came from procurement response, and it is the same in that world. Anybody with lots and lots of letters after their name who care more about the letters than the.
I have a question for the hive mind here. Is an MSP supposed to be responsible for security?
That's something that we've been talking about for what, over a year?
Yeah, but no one listens to us.
It's a good question.
This is our "we told you so" moment, Eric. Come on.
Depends on your agreement with the client, and unfortunately, most MSPs promise way too much, more than they can deliver.
Yeah, but they have Rocket Cyber backing them up. Come on.
Yeah, it depends on what the scope of work states. But
no,
Joel,
no that one.
So Joel, this is a thing that we've been talking about, and I think it's still in litigation. I was actually trying to look it up earlier this week, where MSPs are being sued because they continue to do work for a client in an unsecured manner, knowing because they signed a waiver removing them from supposedly obligations because they weren't taking their sales pitch.
Reddit told them they can get a cover your ass letter and they'll be okay. Yep. Come on.
I think it was ID Agent who started that whole movement, believe it or not, in our channel. The whole
Scientology.
Oh,
no, that's No Before, dude.
That's No Before. Oh, my bad. Sorry, ID Agent.
ID Agent is Kaseya.
It was hey, if you don't sign up for our dark web scanning, then we need to get you to release liability should your password ever be exposed. We're not going to know about it, right? It was kind of that approach, and that's kind of what I think started it, and from my memory. So it is sad.
Do you love to troll the Reddit collective or gain insight from the Reddit collective?
I have a
All
question.
Of the above.
I have a question for you guys. What's the greatest strength of the MSP world?
Prank?
Strength.
Strength,
same shit.
The Borg mentality.
I'll tell you what it is, and it's actually a negative.
Well,
it's
that's where I'm going.
The MSP world's egos are out of control. Like every IT guy I meet, their ego, they're just like.
You mean every MSP is not doing it right 100% of the time?
Oh my God, they got like the secret sauce. You know, they got the silver bullet. Like
I want to go back to what Eric said.
Ryan, respectively, fuck you.
The greatest strength I think of the MSP community is that it's a community, right? Though. They can go sell something, don't know what the fuck they're doing, and go talk to someone on one of the chat boards and be like, hey, help me, please. They'll get flamed a few times, but somebody will be like, here's how you unfuck yourself.
How do I fix my Exchange server? Fuck.
No, I mean, you're absolutely right, though. The mass majority of them just have overly inflated everything.
I would say that's also their biggest weakness, right? Because they have no technical.
That's what eliminates the barrier of entry. The fact we have such a good community, and you feel like, I'm gonna tell the client I can do this because I'm just gonna go ask how to do it out on the internet.
And see, this is.
But take that one step further. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So, is this a generational thing?
No, because not everybody started in the 90s or the 2000s when we did, and we had to actually fucking know what we were doing.
Exactly. You had to know something.
It's fucking Google generation, dude.
Dude, I mean, I remember you had to have at least before I got out of high school.
Okay,
you had to have an A+ to work at your local computer shop down the road.
Hold on, even
I need fried chicken
for most mom and pop shops, right out there. And I mean, back in the early 2000s, there was an absolute god awful ton of them, and even probably late 90s. How many of those had A+ certifications? How many of those were just a matter of just it works,
but that was the infancy, right? Wait.
So mid 2000s, right? Mid 2000s, there was a little bit of consolidation within the brick and mortar space. You know, we saw the actual pop up of Geek Squad. We saw the pop up of a lot of these larger players pulling in here.
Yeah, but they're bikers.
But at the same time, everything was also starting to get on the internet. I mean, early 2000s, a lot of this stuff was on the internet. A lot of the people that had brick and mortar stores prior to 2000s, they were all using BBS boards, which they had to be smart to know. But after that point, the brick and mortar stores I mean, A+ really sort of wasn't around. I mean, it
A+
was,
shit,
but it
let's be
wasn't.
honest.
It's really not even really like a thing. I mean, it is, but it isn't. But it's nice to have, but who cares?
A+ is a fucking circle jerk.
And I mean, the mass majority of brick and mortar stores. The point being is that the mass majority of brick and mortar stores have either shuttered because they have gone 100% digital, or we're seeing a transition purely from the massive amount of brick and mortar stores that we saw to now a massive amount of electronic businesses, meaning every man's an MSP.
Well, I'm glad you say that.
Which, I mean, again, the barrier to entry for a brick and mortar store was next to nothing.
But they still needed financials to get leases, to rent the place,
all you needed.
Insurance, and all that other stuff.
$5,000 maybe, right? The barrier to entry is way less now than it has ever been.
Before I get to my point, anyone who's listening, all two of you, or three, well, one, because now Jess is here.
Yeah.
If you have no shame or give zero fucks, drop your hourly rate in the chat. Now, with community being the strength of the MSP world and also being its weakness, what do you think about groupthink and the Dunning-Kruger effect on the MSP space?
Yeah, not enough. It's always never enough.
Explain Dunning-Kruger effect.
That's what I was alluding to earlier.
Dunning-Kruger is just confirmation bias. We've always been doing it this way, so
exactly.
Why are we going to change it, right?
Yeah,
Josh, raise that fucking price. Don't talk to me. Don't ever come back to another fucking podcast I'm on until
shut up,
that's
Mr.
at least
$4.50 an
$2.50
hour. Goddamn.
Don't listen to him. That's our rate. Calm down.
And I give Brian shit for it every fucking day.
Yeah.
But no, think about the groupthink. So there are 3 or 4 major online spaces for MSPs to congregate, right?
Yep.
Couple on Reddit, couple on Slack, which I think they moved to Reddit. I'm not Reddit. So there's Reddit, there's the Planet MSP Discord, or whatever it is, and then there's the MSP Discord guys.
Yeah.
Right. So let's figure at the very minimum, you have 3 different ways of doing MSP based on those 3 places.
What I like about the MSP geek community, though, is they're not afraid to tear apart a vendor. Right?
Yeah, no, listen, that's fine. That's all well and good. But what I'm getting to is the fact that we need more people thinking outside of the box in the MSP space than those who just go to any one of these platforms and just become part of the Borg, the groupthink. Because I think that's the biggest weakness, right? If you identify what this group is doing, you can create a targeting package for their customers. If you identify what this group is doing, you can create a targeting package. And there's so few groups that it doesn't, and there's so few groups with so much overlap that you could create a targeting package, whether you want to deploy ransomware, whether you want to go after their customers and you have identified their weaknesses, and you can go to their customers and say, hey, are you using this, this, and this? Well, here are the weaknesses, and here's where we can do better.
Well, what about
that goes back to the whole tech debt thing. Sorry, Brian, what was that?
Kaseya and their whole IT complete thing. It's all about groupthink. It's all about, here's all the tools you need to run your MSP, buy them all from us.
But that's a vendor.
Don't think outside the box. And so what I feel like we need to do as MSP is make sure that we're getting advice from vendor agnostic sources. People that aren't getting paid under the table by a vendor.
But why can't IT providers, whether you're an MSP, MSSP, fucking QP, whatever the fuck you want to acronym you want to give yourself?
I'm an elephant.
Is that what you identify as?
No, he identifies an attack helicopter.
Apache or Cobra?
Look here, Perch.
My point here is that we've come to a tipping point where people are more content with seeing what everyone else is doing and following that path as opposed to blazing their own path. And I think that's very dangerous for the industry because that leads to stagnation.
Are you talking about virtue signaling? How, hey, I use this product, so I'm cool?
We could go there too. Why the fuck not?
You know what? It's the same concept.
It is, right? Like,
I mean, it really is the same concept.
Okay, Eric, what's the one...
Cuckoo.
Joel, I think I would call bullshit on you, but I think you use CrowdStrike, so you're okay in my books. Otherwise, go fuck yourself. But
you can be whatever you want as long as you have that CrowdStrike.
I forgot what the fuck I was gonna say.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's MSP. It doesn't matter. Just charge $50 for it. It'll be all right. Don't matter.
No,
So,
35
Andy,
if you're MSP. Come on.
35, excuse me.
To go back, you can't say you're a helicopter or attack helicopter anymore, because that's what Wes Spencer is. He's going to be dictator in charge and start kicking people off of the helicopter who doesn't agree or line with him. So,
but
if you
that's
want
the
to
premise of
be a
MSP,
helicopter,
right?
then you're perching Wes Spencer.
But that's the premise of MSP. It's like an MSP goes in and they say align with our stack, otherwise fuck off.
Yeah.
Now,
So I mean,
Eric,
there's a big difference though, because a lot of the fly by nights. Well, I say fly by nights, but a lot of the ones that are the ones that the actual vendors are targeting, they will say, "Yeah, you need our stack or get the hell out." But then it's like, no, we have to do everything custom for each client. And
manage break fix.
You read. No, not even code managed. Not even
manage
code
break fix.
Yeah. I'm a managed service provider, but I provide break fix services to you as well.
No, I got something for Eric here.
That's just straight up break fix with you being a VAR. Let's call it what it is.
How much piss and vinegar you got in you today? Before I put you on the spot.
Hold on.
No, I'm overdue. Let it rip.
This is empty.
Okay. Andy, you
All
may
right,
want to
Andy.
hear this before. Oh, we'll wait for Andy.
Okay, fine. What?
No, go. Get your liquid gold. Someone speak before I go, because I want to save this for.
It's a small world after all.
Anyway.
It's
Eric,
as a new learner to the space, I think more vendor agnostic resources would be great, because one of the things that was hard about learning things is you'd go to these sites to look up different topics, different
but that's great.
That's
the beautiful part. I have very young children, and I learned that in this day and age, there are typically two types of people: people who learn, and people who learn how to access what they need. I prefer my kids to be the third type, which is learn and also learn how to access what they need.
Yes.
So in other words, just get everything off of GitHub.
SolarWinds 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Okay, now that Mr. Andrew's back.
Trust but verify.
This isn't gonna be good.
You know that's a Soviet term, right, Brian?
Oh, damn it. I'm trying to be American over here.
Yeah, American is walk with the.
Reagan took that from the Soviets. But anyway, Eric, and this is where one of the few places where I think Eric and I disagree.
Wait, so the Russians were right the whole time?
No, stop it.
Why are we fighting them?
Don't say that. You'll get canceled.
Yeah, please.
Eric, who's your favorite vendor in the MSP space? And I say that with ultimate sarcasm.
Fucking Kaseya.
Okay, your second favorite. Who has, let me qualify the statement, who has a near psychotic fanboy following. I personally think they're better than the product they put out. Whereas you just think it's a simple Windows-based product.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I thought you were talking about Chris Weiser for a second there. I'm not sure he's talking about.
I like Chris. I got an Apple TV from him, so don't fucking talk shit about him.
Because his followers are fucking cult. I'm not telling you.
They are a cult.
No,
I got kicked out. I can't get back again.
It's just him with multiple accounts. But anyway.
So who are you talking about?
Managed auto runs.
Oh.
Managed overruns.
Auto runs.
Yeah.
Fucking Huntress. Here we go.
No,
there's a massive cult following around.
I firmly believe that the talent pool they have in Huntress is far better than the product they sell. I think the product they sold came at the right time. I just don't think it's relevant anymore. But I think if they really dig down into their core competency, they can overtake the market. But
that's the reason they're managing Defender and coming out with their own SOC and everything.
They're not fucking managing Defender.
They're managing the free version.
It's managed registry keys. Get it
exactly.
Straight, goddammit. But
you're managing the registry keys, making sure they're in place, and you're parsing the logs.
Isn't that what Intune does? I mean, come on.
I want to bring, but no one wants to pay the $20 for that license. They want to pay the fucking $12.
All right, fair enough.
I want to bring this back to tech debt. A couple of times, Eric, you called them out. You're like, they're only auto runs, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And their hive mind mentality came after you and shredded you, for lack of better words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, God forbid they have an issue with their product. How many of those people are going to be affected and not give it the credence it probably should be because of that hive mind groupthink mentality?
Yeah,
And that's where I want to go with this. It's
well,
You can
yeah,
like
I've given Datto tons of slack
no.
because I'm a Datto fanboy. I still love Datto, even though
Really?
they got bought by Kaseya.
I've never noticed that.
Yeah, never noticed that. But you're right. When you've got that cult kind of fanboy following, they're willing to put up with more. Right?
You know what you need, Brian? There's a vulnerability management platform called CyberCNS. I think you should really dig into that one.
Too soon. But no, this goes. What you're saying? Do you still have that smiley face?
By the way,
no, I don't.
By the way, I think that information's kind of public now because I've been hearing a lot of other people talk about that.
Let them talk about it. You don't be the one to.
I
would say.
I won't be.
But this kind of goes back to what I was saying a little while ago. You know, people are not willing to do the due diligence on the
Eric, if I may for a second, Brian, who are the two people that told you not to use that fucking product? Just for the record.
The one that helped me decide my final decision, or the first two people that told me?
The first two people that told you
Okay.
it's a fucking shithole.
They're on this podcast here.
Okay.
And one of these guys is Eric and Shiva here. Yes.
There we go.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my god.
And who gave me shit for saying CrowdStrike handles that for me?
All right. If we're gonna play this game,
here we go.
Who's the one who didn't like Datto RMM until he decided to move to it because it was the best thing since sliced bread?
No, we never said it was the same.
God, that is a shit pie you got to eat on that one.
No, listen. The one thing I've always said is now, for those of you who are listening, there was a point in time where I didn't like Brian, and Brian probably didn't like
at all. Oh, you really did not like
To be
him.
fair, I think I shit on Brian more than anybody.
And
Eric
I will
was
tell you
quite painful.
the type of man that Brian is. When I came with my cock in hand, not literally, you perverts, but I was like, Brian, I need to know more about Datto. I think I'm going there. He was very gracious in answering all of my questions, and not once was he ever a fucking douchebag the way I am to say I told you so. He was gracious with his fucking answers. Me? No, I'm a fucking I told you so guy, which is what I just did. But anyway, I digress.
I feel like mom and dad are fighting right now.
I've learned to try to be a student because we all have egos that are way too big for us. So we got to put them in check every now and then, right? And that's just what you do sometimes.
I will say that I am fortunate that there's a group in a Zoom room that we frequent. And if you guys want to enter, we will charge you $1,000 a month. Just let us know. We'll send you a link.
Look here, Chris Weiser.
I was going to split it with you. What the fuck?
Oh.
But it is an all day. It is an all day Zoom.
Why do you
room.
think I said 1,000 a month? Come on. There's like
It
5
is an
guys
all
in
day
there.
Zoom room, and
No,
I'm
Sorry,
thinking
Brian,
we could start selling timeshares to this Zoom room. Why not do that?
Wait, hold
2,000
on.
2,000 a month.
Will we get the timeshare lawyers on us though?
Hey, Joel, look at where rubles are trading right now. $55.
Seriously.
20 rubles more than before. 20 rubles less.
Wait, is that because they're on the gold standard?
They're not on the gold standard, but they are pinned to gold.
They're pretty close.
But no, my point about that whole
Speaking of which,
rambling,
go buy some silver. It's really cheap right now.
my point about all this rambling is
Not financial advice.
Find
Not
a
financial advice.
good group of people that'll push you to be better. And Jess, now that you're coming into the fuckery that is fuckery, find a group of people that will embrace you for where you are in your career, but also help to push you more forward. Like anything less is just a waste of your fucking time.
Yeah.
I've got one peer group I'm part of just to tell me I'm
HCG
crazy.
does not count.
Just to tell me I'm crazy all the time, because that's the only way I know I'm doing the right thing.
Is that
Oh,
the
so you're
is that Unicorn MSP Lounge?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's a different one. Well, no, yes, that is one that does the same thing too. Yeah, but you guys actually, you back a little bit of my VAM stuff. Everyone else thinks VAM's crazy, but I'm about to have a meet.
I do too.
Dude, the whole point of VAM is to relieve you of liability.
Dude, I see
and make more revenue. It's how can I make the largest impact with the knowledge I have? It's not going to be dealing with these small businesses. It's going to be helping IT departments.
But Brian, that goes back to what I was saying earlier, where you're running to where the ball is going.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of IT providers are worried about putting dinner on the table tonight. And it's that thing that prevents them from planning their dinner 3 months from now.
Yeah,
So.
I've been there. It sucks. But that's also why those IT providers are getting the cheapest of the cheap.
Well,
and supplying the cheapest of the cheap.
So
I hate to say it like that, but it's
MSP vendors are being held back by who they serve, which are uneducated, immature MSPs. I feel like if they started selling to the enterprise space, they would be held accountable more.
They can't.
You're right. There's roadblocks. I run into it all the time. I can't sell you this because it doesn't have proper RBAC or it doesn't have proper zero knowledge, right? You can't
forget RBAC. What about the fact that a vendor can't tell who's accessing their customers' information?
No, Joel, you plan your dinner 3 months out when it's a 5-star or a 3-star, 3 to 5 star Michelin restaurant. Okay, been to 1 or 2. You
Joel,
really got
unless that pizza is $100 a slice, it don't count.
Yeah, $100 a slice for pizza? Jesus Christ!
Don't you follow Joshua Weissman on YouTube? He's like puts fucking caviar and gold flake on that shit.
That's not
but that's just like, I'm just gonna add gold to jack the cost up.
Salt Bay. That's like Salt Bay. But
Brian,
Salt Bay, straight up.
To your point, take the vendors out of it. If you want to talk about the immature stupidity of the technologists that are out there, it's because they don't have the ambition or the drive, right? I mean, in our own private community, I've always been that asshole that's like y'all go look at a company.
You're an asshole?
Oh, yes. But we're going to go look at a company and then I'm like, no, you really don't want to because A, B, C, D, and E. And then Shiva or Modab, I forget who, created a emergent security in that room as a joke. And I have brought everybody full fold.
And that has actually become one of the more important channels in our private Slack. Again, $2,000. No, for the Slack, it's $3,000 a month to get access. For the Zoom, it's another $2,000.
Yeah. And you too will be tip of the spear,
monkey. But so I'll tell you a joke about Eric. We were on a demo once. This guy was selling fucking CMMC bullshit, right?
We have stories like this for days.
Zero knowledge, motherfuckers. On the screen share, Eric hacks the fucking guy or breaches his systems or whatever the fuck you want to call it. Joel, I am setting the fucking prices. And because you asked, you get to pay double, motherfucker. Okay. No, it's not inflation. It's shivflation.
Shivflation.
No, but seriously, I'm on this call with Eric and this guy, and he's telling us how great he is. He's former Army. He's sucking cock, whatever the fuck he's doing, right? CMMC. This is before the 2.0 came out. Eric breaches the guy in less than 5 minutes. And he's like, should I be doing this? And the guy's like, oh, no. You didn't know what to fucking do.
How did you do that?
My point about this story is that vendors have gotten too accustomed to prospective clients not requiring better of them.
Exactly. But that's because those clients make them rich. So can you blame the vendor for the fact the clients aren't demanding more? Right?
No, wait, hold on. The wrong microphone. I got a key point here. And this may sound a little crass, especially depending on what business you're in, and we're all in the same business.
Clear dot.
Don't we all prey on stupid?
Fucking podcast.
No.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm sorry, Andy.
Don't we all prey on stupid to make money?
I can't afford to.
We never prey on stupid.
I don't touch stupid with a 6-foot pole anymore.
But
it's a waste of my time.
And a lot of times, stupid also pays.
No, you know why? Stupid doesn't pay what I charge.
But we make them smart.
Stupid doesn't pay what I charge.
But, I mean, seriously, I hate to say it like that. Now, there are a lot of people out there, and my clients especially, are extraordinarily smart and understand the need for security. But
why is that?
But because of education that I've given.
Whose education? Yours.
Yes.
Yeah. So
that's
if you're selling, a big difference. That is a big difference, though, and that's what I'm trying to make here. Is the mass majority of who vendors are selling to are stupid, and then the people who are buying the products and reselling it are selling.
Personal question for you, Andy.
That really don't care.
So are you saying you are who you sell to?
Absolutely.
You are who?
Okay.
No,
you
I
please.
mean, but let's be honest here, though. How hard is it to actually vet vendors? Truly, I mean,
Depends
it's hard
who you
to
are.
vet
If
vendors.
you're any of
It
us on
really
this
is
call,
hard to vet vendors.
excluding you, Jess, because I don't know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
But for us, it's easy because we ask them questions and they have their dick in the hand, and we're just like, all right, fuck off. Like,
But I mean,
recent vendor, I won't call them
it's-
out, but they do patching. They couldn't do certain types of targeting. I was like, fuck off. That's what it
My
is.
point being is that a lot of times the vendors, they'll answer questions one way, and then you get to use their product, and you're in a yearly commit for it, or a 2-year commit, or in Kaseya's point, a 3-year commit, and you realize it doesn't do anything that they said. Now, you can try and call them out on breach of contract. Will that really happen?
Whose fault is that?
It would if you were a big enterprise company
It
paying
would if
millions
you're a
of
big
dollars.
enterprise company.
Okay,
But you're the
so-
small man on the totem pole. Now, the problem being is that, okay, their salespeople told me one thing. I was promised one thing by salesperson. I get into their product. The product doesn't do what it does. You submit a ticket to support. Support says, no, it's on our roadmap.
Mhm.
Now what? Now what?
I am going to take a page out of the Grumpy Old Man's book. You all know
Okay.
who I'm talking about.
Oh,
and,
Mr. Robert.
Yep.
and if you guys want to be exposed to the genius of this grumpy old man, that's only $2,500 a
Absolutely.
month for the Slack. Okay.
Prices are just all over the place.
Yeah. Act
Price
now
is
for
more.
5 minutes.
Now, in his situation, and he mentioned this recently in Slack, and this is why I bring it up, right? Joel, wait for what I'm going to say because that doesn't fucking
That's
matter.
beautiful.
Yeah.
But it is
And it-
beautiful.
And it doesn't fucking matter, and I'll tell you why.
I know where he's going.
This person we're talking about spoke to a vendor. They gave him a discount in writing, in email,
Mm-hmm.
and something made him double check that just before he was onboarding with them. And it turns out the salesperson lied in email.
Yep.
I put him in touch with someone who's much higher up than his salesperson. And this person said, yeah, well, too bad. It is what it is. You got to pay. It's the more expensive price. That same thing happened to me with this same vendor as well.
Yep.
So I put it on the purchaser to verify their contract spells out what they think they're getting. And if you're demoing a product and doing a real proof of concept, you should understand everything about that product. And if you don't understand it, it is your job to ask them the questions before you ask for a contract and a bill of sale. Because once you sign that contract, I guarantee you in that contract, it is going to say it overrules every conversation, email, blah, blah, fucking blah that you've had
This
with them.
contract supersedes all of the
Everything.
discussions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No implied, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if your contract doesn't say that, you're a fucking idiot.
I'm a fucking idiot.
I was born an idiot.
Well, I want to get back to tech debt on the security side of things.
Yeah, we are
Okay.
over an hour and we've only got.
I got
Oh,
got time. I got
F
nothing.
me.
Look,
And we only have.
Jessica's not coming home till 5:30. I've got time.
And 5:30, that is Central Time, Andy?
Central.
And just
Central, by
so
the
you
way.
know, he's
There
not
you go.
talking about the.
No,
our
I'm not
guest,
talking
it's
about
just
Bishop. Good Lord,
yeah,
no.
not
I'm not married to her.
Different Jessica.
Different
Yeah,
Jessica
different.
altogether.
But I did think at first it was your Jessica until I realized it wasn't.
Yeah, no. Wait.
I saw the last
Sorry.
name and I go,
Kenton,
that doesn't-
You're
Kenton
probably
or-
nice as all get out.
Yeah.
Haven't met you before. We're all
Kenton
good.
or Brian?
I think my husband would have something to say about that.
Yeah.
What if,
She's not
what if he's
Jessica
poly?
Aoli.
What if he's
How do you-
poly?
Holy good Lord.
How do you say
Now,
your name?
Kenton,
Aoli?
what do you want to hear about?
Aloya. Okay.
Italian lawyer, man. Come on.
So, well, hold on. Before Brian gets back on tech debt, that is the MSP vendor space. In the chat,
Italian
all
lawyer.
you lovely little fuckers, and I say that with peace and love because you're Eric's little fuckers, put some questions in the chat. We'll answer them. You may not like the answers, but we'll fucking answer them.
we're getting spicy.
All right. So we're going a little extra here. We haven't
It's the
touched-
overtime.
We haven't touched this, but this is a good one because it's really
Remember, the priest got in trouble for that.
It's
What, for
really
shooting his load?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
all right. So we're moving on to tech debt, security
Yes, tech debt.
because I think it is the number one determining factor of whether or not your MSP vendor has tech debt. Okay. Do they have proper RBAC? all the way down to a co-managed relationship where you have an internal IT employee for one of your clients that needs to access.
Is
right?
RBAC like Fatback?
RBAC is role-based access control, buddy.
Okay.
Well, are you asking if they have it or if they say they have it? Because those are two very different things.
If they actually have it. I'm talking about some stupid shit like, hey, why do I need to be an administrator to do this simple task? And if I want to
coded properly.
Yeah, because it's hard coded that way. Well, wait a second. I don't want to give everyone an administrator just to do this one thing. Why can't I allow them to do this one thing without being an administrator? Right? Simple. Pretty basic.
Bye, Jess.
Jess,
you're welcome. I mean, barring the cursing, I would say bring the kid, but you probably don't want them listening to what I have to say.
They're all.
I do not advise that.
They're all acting like crazy animals downstairs, and only one of them is not a crazy animal. So I think I should probably go check and see what's happening.
Have fun. Happy July 4th. May you eat lots of barbecue this weekend, and if you're a vegan, I don't fucking care about you.
Oh man, I'm in the Kansas City area. I
barbecue.
I do the barbecue myself.
Yep. Fucking vegans everywhere, unfortunately.
The challenge. I want to see barbecue on your LinkedIn.
Okay.
Josh Eller, my stack is CrowdStrike, TeamViewer, and
Wait,
Splunk.
Before we get off on that, I got
hold on. No, we can't. Yeah, we'll get your items in a second. But we can't walk away from that fucking elephant. Fucking TeamViewer?
Yeah.
What in the holy
Microsoft even Microsoft ended their relationship with them even.
TeamViewer is like number 2 against AnyDesk.
Yeah, but more Indians use AnyDesk, so that's why I said fuck off. TeamViewer, at least I can lock to my tenant.
All right, enterprise security tech debt with MSP vendors. RBAC was the first one. Okay. Second and third encompass a ton of shit. Zero knowledge, zero trust. And the fourth one, which I just forgot because you guys went off on another tangent.
You're welcome.
And I've been drinking too much, clearly.
Not enough.
Well, let's be honest. Zero knowledge, zero trust. I mean, zero knowledge, zero trust in terms of an industry standard is, I won't say relatively new, but in terms of being propagated across the industry.
Here's the other thing I just realized.
Can I ask you a question here? Oh, sorry, Brian. Go ahead.
So,
fourth one, the ability to cut the vendor out of your supply chain completely by being able to host offline on your own platform.
Oh, you mean like Kaseya VSA where the hosted platform was okay, but the self-hosted one was fucked?
Halo, love you. Not for RMM. I'm not saying do that for RMM.
I'm just saying in general.
Tactical RMM. Halo. Get that shit.
With some crypto.
With some crypto.
I have a question.
You could be making money on your clients' machines.
The point I'm making is for critical line of business applications, and you see this all the time in the enterprise space, you have the ability to host it yourself so that the vendor's outages will not affect you.
Yeah.
And you think when you're talking about a real enterprise product, let's take Salesforce, for instance, you don't think their infrastructure is going to be far more resilient than anything you do?
I'll tell you what, I do not. I've decided, given my faith in vendors, which is very little, as you've seen from this talk here, I've decided that if there's critical line of business applications that I need to run my business on a day-to-day basis, I am hosting that shit on my own platform.
So here's the rub.
PSA,
I would ask you.
PSA, documentation, password management.
So ConnectWise Automate, right? Because if we're hosting our own shit, ConnectWise Automate was one of the premier for a long time self-hosted
tech debt, clunky.
Shut up, Brian.
But that's my point, though, right? That's exactly it. Is because you're dealing with on-prem solutions. Now, I'm not saying Hoodoo is a recently created product. Okay,
web-based.
Halo is a recently created product. I mean, recent within the last 5 years is what I mean.
No, Halo used to be Harmony, I think, so they're old as fuck.
Yeah, no, Halo and Hoodoo, those two are. Is Halo based on Harmony?
I think so. I think they used to be Harmony.
Yeah, I don't know my knowledge, but I mean, if you were using Automate in-house with an on-prem, meaning in your own house server, not hosted off-site, right? And you were able to have a direct local connection. It was quick as hell.
Mm-hmm.
if you had to host it off-site and use all their HTTPS bullfuckery, that thing was slower than dirt.
Tech debt.
Dude, even if it was local to
Absolutely
you, it was
was.
still
It's
fucking
not
slower than dirt.
web-based. It's not
Yeah.
designed to be web-based. You need a web-based
No.
platform if you're going to host it yourself.
Andy said something a little while ago that I want to ask you three and you lovely fuckers that's what I'm going to call you from now on, you lovely fuckers in the chat. What's more important to you? Zero knowledge or zero trust? And if you don't know what either one is, feel free to ask.
That's a good point.
I'm going to answer that one first.
Hold on,
Sorry,
before
guys.
we go, if you don't mind, I want to at least touch on the previous topic for a second.
Okay.
The whole point, when you start looking at cloud infrastructure and you're using like QuickBooks, for instance, or Salesforce or any of these other applications, you definitely want to have an on-premise in case of an outage. Yes, would Salesforce potentially, come back up without using a magical blue pill before some of these other small vendors? I absolutely believe so.
Not sponsored, but you could if you want to sponsor us.
I will say there was one of my clients, their primary source of anything is through Salesforce, through another company's Salesforce tenant. It's all provided through SSO, but Salesforce themselves had a massive outage that lasted over a day and a half for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's crippling.
It is very crippling, and when you're dealing with a global entity. We're talking about like probably the mass majority of the first world nation.
Can I qualify that statement?
Yeah.
I think that anyone who uses a NetSuite, a Salesforce, or a fully built out Dynamics platform, if any one of those platforms go down, you are effectively dead in the water.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There are no processes being transacted. There's nothing occurring.
And you know what none of those products have? The ability to have a third-party backup.
Third-party backup or offline capabilities.
And why should I, as an IT company who's supporting these enterprise products, right? Who's supporting these enterprise companies that are using these enterprise products, use those same enterprise products. So when they go down, I go down, and then I can't support my client and help them.
Because it's 2022 and everyone should be going down?
Why?
Different podcast.
Why shouldn't I still be up and running and be like, oh yeah, no problem. We got your ticket in just fine about right?
Don't worry about it. It's just Joe Biden on a bicycle.
This brings up.
Don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it.
I have a question here for you guys. How do you feel, and the lovely fuckers in the audience, how do you guys feel about your vendors using the same platform that you're using? And I'll give an example. ConnectWise ran their business on ConnectWise Manage.
Or going upstairs too.
Do you want your vendor to be out of band so that if there's an issue with the product they're selling you, they're not affected, or do you expect them to eat their own dog food?
Well,
I would expect them to eat their own dog food. That is one thing I did like about ConnectWise.
Not at all.
I want them out of band because if there's a vulnerability with their product, I want it to not affect my vendor.
So that is a double-edged sword, right?
That's a double-edged sword. I mean, it truly is. Because
it goes hand in hand with do as I say, not as I do, right?
But you can be out of band using the same product.
Okay,
on a different server, right? You can be out of band using the same product, separate separate servers.
Okay, imagine you're Kaseya, right? And you're running your business on VSA. And Divid tells you your tits up fucked with vulnerabilities. So you put a WAF in front of yours. But maybe you don't put a good enough WAF. What happens?
Or maybe you don't inform all your partners to put a WAF in front of theirs that they're self-hosting.
But could their partners even put a WAF in front of theirs? Do they have the technical ability?
They're not educated enough. No.
Exactly. That's why they didn't waste their time. Otherwise, there would be 1,000 tickets. How do I set up a WAF?
Yeah, now we got a bunch of support tickets helping people set up WAFs.
Exactly. And how do I mean, okay, everyone here's an MSP at some point, right? Even you, Eric. Like, I'm sure you still have some of your legacy clients. Do you want to deal with shit that you're not selling or supporting?
No.
So
nobody does.
So the double-edged sword of that is, especially if you are a client of said product and you have a bunch of users that are bitching about it, the internal infrastructure, the internal team doesn't have to deal with it because they're on a different platform altogether. But if you got not only your external clients but your internal teams bitching about the same freaking issue, you think the company will be more inclined to actually,
Yeah,
quickly
look at it
resolve
this way.
that issue.
If they're breached and you're breached, you're both down.
And we're just all just fucked.
Exactly. But if you're breached and they're not, at least they can put their resources behind getting you back up if it's their problem or their cause or their SQL injection problem, is what I'm saying.
To say it.
So, but
Yes.
but there is something to be said about that, right? Like Salesforce, they're a big enterprise company. I'd be fine with them eating their own dog food if it was
They
separate
do.
from everyone else, right?
But here's
To
the
where-
thing, Brian. What I'm trying to target this at is the MSP space. So you have ConnectWise, who, at least when I was a customer of theirs, they use ConnectWise to run their business, right? Whereas Datto uses NetSuite. So they're
And when I was with Enable before
I mean,
SolarWinds bought them, they
Kenton,
used
there's no
Dynamics.
such thing as a good MSP product. Shut your mouth.
Yeah, but Enable was using Dynamics before the SolarWinds. I'm not sure if they still are or not, but
elephant in the room, the reason that Datto stopped using Autotask is because
it's shit.
Autotask is not an enterprise product and they are an enterprise company. When these MSP
But yet
vendors
they
get
sell
big
PSA
enough
as if
to
it's
be
the newest
enterprise,
fucking thing.
they hinder themselves using their own products because they're not designed for enterprise. That's what
So-
Datto was doing with
I have a question.
Autotask.
so a little side comment before we go to you, Shiva. So Joel, just to talk about your hate for ConnectWise is not as strong as mine. I would probably be like Satan walking into a church if I went to IT Nation.
Joel, I think you have kindred spirits on this call when it comes to hate of ConnectWise.
Mhm. So what you were going to say, Shiva?
I've never even used them.
Oh, be
and I
quiet,
hate
Brian.
them.
Be quiet, Brian. Shiva's turn.
I don't fucking remember what I was going to say.
Oh, okay. Back to you, Bri.
Oh,
What?
was I supposed to say
What?
something? What are we talking about? Enterprise
Tech debt.
security, tech debt. I'm
Oh,
telling you, those are the
No, I was
four
going to
areas.
ask you, Brian. I was going to ask you, Brian.
Yeah.
Why don't you like Autotask PSA? Don't you like having 4 different fucking product types that can't do what you actually need it to fucking do?
it's a pain in the ass to set up. I don't know how automated Brian is with his Autotask. I'm assuming he's probably gone down the same rabbit hole I've gone down on a lot of things, but it's a pain in the ass to set up for the automation stuff. It really is. It truly is. It works. Now, don't get me wrong. It works, but when you have to deal with the multiple different product types, and I mean product types is, you have a service. Well, service is different from a product, but you can't attach
And configuration
products. You can't
item
attach services to a
and
contract.
contact
You
item.
have to attach products to a contract, but the contracts themselves can't work correctly unless you have the services added in. So then you have to do billing types, and then have a problem with billing types.
Can I
is that
chime
now
in?
you have to have automated back-end processes to say, hey, based on the number of contacts you have, now we can add in these services to the billing tags.
But it still
Like-
won't give you a PO for a product
Can
you
I-
need to buy from a vendor.
Yeah.
Can I chime in real quick? And this goes back to
Sure.
our group think.
Oh,
We're engaged with C-Level Ops, great company, MSP coaching, like all around processes. But
More
I'm
MSP bullshit.
finding a lot of the processes that they're telling us to do are because of limitations with the damn PSA
Who
itself.
own-
And I'm
Brian,
like, why does
Brian,
this process
Brian?
have to be so clunky? Oh,
Two
because
things.
most
Wait.
PSAs are clunky, and this is the way it
hold on.
works.
2 things.
it's because of the way the stupid
Joel?
business people were taught in college.
No.
Yeah.
Joel,
Done.
I use Halo PSA. It's a fantastic
Stupid.
fucking product. Brian, who owns C-Level?
Well, now PAX8 owns them, but
Would
before
you-
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Would you say that prior to ownership of PAX8 and even during PAX8 ownership, they are geared towards doing business with the MSP?
They're 100%. I mean,
So-
they're almost doing my VAM.
Why
idea.
wouldn't they target the shithole MSP products that everyone uses to build our processes around?
Well, of course, but the point about that I'm making is the company understands that it's a clunky process and says, sorry, we just have to do it that way because of the tech debt that most PSAs have. And we don't have a new way of doing things.
So they're what you're
right?
saying is, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, they're choosing revenue over doing the right thing.
No, never.
No. Actually, in all fairness for them, they are making revenue on this, but it's helping us navigate how the fuck do we run our business with such clunky PSAs, right? Like that's really what it's about. It's like, hey, I need to automate or make this process more efficient. How do I use this tool to do it?
I have a question for you, Brian, and I know the answer to this, but I just want to see if you want to talk about it on here. What's the number one piece of tech debt that hinders your business? I think I know what it is, and I'll drop it in the chat. Well, I'll drop it in the private chat away from these motherfuckers.
It's my PSA right now. My PSA right now, I feel like blocks me almost everywhere I go.
Because I'm being a little specific about what I'm talking about.
And billing. Yeah, billing, obviously, right? Billing reconciliation. Am I billing the client right? Is the vendor billing me right?
Well, it's not only that, but let's talk about billing reconciliation and then actually being able to fucking charge people. How many products do you need?
How about the fact that I did an audit on my supposed automated billing in my PSA, and I found this was 2 years ago, $3,000 a month we were missing out on billing,
and you can't get it back
because of how clunky everything is, and nothing integrates with each other, and there's such a manual process to make sure all the numbers are matching up. It's ridiculous. It's the bane of every MSP's existence right now, and it's all around the PSA, which is not a moneymaker for these vendors. The PSA is sold as per seat per technician, and most MSPs have very little technicians. So you're talking about a product that's it's never gonna get the attention it needs.
I know a group that got a really good group buy on Autotask PSA, by the way.
Yeah.
Too bad most of that group is already done with on that product.
$3,500 a month.
Now I am on $3,500 a month if they want access to the group buy.
Yeah. Now, in defense of Datto and Autotask, real quick, Andy, and I'll give it back to you. In defense of Datto and Autotask, I had to throw this out there. I'm pretty certain they are going to reskin Autotask just like they did Datto RMM.
Yeah.
But does that tell me it's going to fix all the tech debt? No.
It's not going to fix anything.
No.
I mean, I will say, it might make it a little less clunky because
let me ask you a question,
the interface
Brian.
currently is quite old.
How incendiary do you want to get on this podcast?
Not that. Maybe
I don't want to burn
70%.
bridges.
Clear
I'm not here to burn bridges.
I'll shut up at this point.
Cleared hot.
Right.
So I wouldn't say that incendiary. I'm probably going to stick with them for at least another year to 2 years.
I'll tell you that I moved to Halo PSA and I have no fucking problems anymore, dude. Like the shit just fucking works.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing though, right? I mean,
Joel, I like how you think.
All right. Hey, Shiba, did you ever buy any of this?
No, I didn't.
No.
You need to get some.
How about you drop ship some?
Either I can ship some to you.
Yeah.
This was actually.
If it's not going to get here by tomorrow, I'll go get some.
It's probably not gonna get that quick.
Brian's got to go take a pee-pee.
But this is Holding Station. My brother sent me a bottle of this stuff. He's in Memphis, Tennessee. If you need rims and wheels, he is the guy to go to. The original Hubcap Annie. Funny enough. But no, seriously, they're great whiskey. Seriously great whiskey.
Joel, Kenton, and Josh. Come on, throw some questions. We're well sauced. We'll give you some good answers.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I can see that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. 4.5 years in the Marine Corps. I understand.
It's okay, but at least now you're a former Marine, so you're good.
There's no
My granddad will say the same thing, dude. Never such thing as a former.
That's why.
No, we were on a podcast a while back, and Shiva just started bringing up crayons in the freaking camera.
Now, to be fair, in my selective service thing, you have to fill out here in Texas in order to get a driver's license. I definitely filled out the fact of I wanted to be in the Marine Corps. I will eat crayons for life if given the choice.
You know what the good thing about the Marines is that once you sign up, you know you get to go shoot a gun. It's not like the Army, Navy, and all the other branches where
Oh,
you
yeah.
could be a
No.
cook or some other fucking thing.
No.
Marines are everyone's a fucking rifleman.
Everybody's a rifleman.
It's like
And that was my point. I mean,
Get
that literally was my thought process. Is like if shit hit the fan and I was called into the service, I want to know how to fucking shoot a gun first before I do
it's not
anything.
that you know how to shoot a gun. It's you will be shooting.
Yeah,
a gun.
you will be shooting a gun.
I heard
you
a
will
joke, and
know how
maybe
to
Eric, you can
defend
tell me about
yourself.
this.
Yeah.
The Marines will send a battalion over before they figure out how to feed them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they'll drop you in the middle of a forest. Say, good fucking luck.
Josh, where are you? Not that
Don't
it
ask
fucking matters.
Shiva. Shiva will never ever tell you anything that's in your client's price range.
Andy,
let's
let
end
me
this-
ask, let me ask you a
they
question.
really want to pay.
Andy, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you charging more now than you've ever charged?
On the hourly or on the
On everything.
On any,
Well, let me rephrase this. Are you charging more now after we've met or before?
shut the fuck up, you asshole. Don't you dare ever throw that in my face.
I like the question up. I think we shouldn't forget about this question, by the way.
No, I mean, but the truth is
I think 150 was great in the early 2000s.
It really depends on the area because honestly, now my area, I have never been able to charge more than 150 an hour ever. Okay.
But there's ways to get around that.
There are ways to get around that.
Do we
Don't
wanna
charge
tell
hourly.
Josh? Do we want
Don't
to
charge
tell
hourly.
Josh, or do you just want him to fend for himself and fuck off?
No, let's talk.
I don't care. Yeah.
So, Josh, where I'm going with this is,
yeah.
Say Joshua, just in case you don't. He may not like Josh.
I don't fucking care.
Okay. Strap in, bitches.
How do you bill? Client calls you. You got to go to their office. It takes you 30 minutes to do your thing. What do they pay?
All right. So,
AKA,
I
are you
always
doing
charge door to door for that bullshit.
or
half rate.
It's
in
different
travel.
if you're an MSP versus like an analyst or an IR guy, right?
No,
'Cause you don't even know.
I'm
what
not
you're-
getting I'm not
For
getting
real.
into that type of minutia here. And Josh, where I'm going with this is that I think you need to have, if it's remote, you charge in 15-minute increments. Okay, so if you do work for 5 minutes, you're billing
minimum
for
30.
15.
Minimum 30.
No, I think remote is
I
15.
think 15.
No,
15,
minimum
but
30.
if it's after hours, it's time and a half, and if it's a holiday, then it's double time. Right? And then I think if you're going on site, it should be a 2-hour minimum and 30-minute increments. And that's that's what I'm trying to get at with Andy here, as if you're charging 150. Personally, I don't think anyone who knows what they're doing should charge less than 200 to 250 an hour. I charge 400 an hour.
Yeah, and
To be
that's
fair,
why that's
he's
why
up
your
in the
minimum
north.
And
is
I
15
also
minutes.
lose a lot more deals than I get because of my rates. But I'm okay with that because
That's why your minimum is 15 minutes on a remote call. Also,
right.
if you're
So
only
if-
charging 150 hour, your minimum on a remote call should be 30 minutes.
You know, you're not wrong 100%
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
15 minutes with me is $100.
All right, so we did ask for questions, and I did pop this up. So Joel Benton asked, "What do you think an MSP or MSSP should do?" You call them all dumb, and we'll answer this.
Not
and
all, but
not,
most of them.
and not
No.
know what they're doing.
I
I am
think-
curious, what would make an MSSP better?
First,
So,
I want to clarify.
Yeah.
We did not call MSSPs dumb. We called MSPs trying to act like they're MSSPs dumb. is
And
what we
most
called.
MSSPs.
I would also preface that with the matter of you cannot trust a vendor to call you an MSSP to make yourself an MSSP.
Mm-hmm.
Straight up. Okay. If a vendor is selling you a product that says, hey, you buy our product, you're now an MSSP. No, the hell you're not. At that point, you're just no more than a VAR.
I
Okay.
think
It potentially. I mean, I'm not saying whatever you're buying, it depends on what you're buying, but
here's what I
generally
think.
speaking, no, what would make an MSSP better
The ability to do queries in fucking KQL in their sim
is bring a lot of that stuff in house
and not
I
need
mean,
a GUI
be
to
an
do
actual
everything they're doing.
true managed security services provider. You bring a lot of that stuff in house.
And an MSSP should know how the sausage is made. Bottom line.
Yes.
Cyber Insight, I do all the time.
Yes, I agree. I do pro bono work.
1,000%.
Yep.
I donate up to 100 hours a month for pro bono.
I don't know about that much.
No, but back to the MSSP question. I think it really depends are you actually utilizing your tools? Or are you reselling your tools?
How about
if you're just
this?
reselling, you're not an MSSP.
If you're an MSSP, are you talking about threat actor playbooks? Are you talking about the latest threats that are coming out and how they're coming in and how you're going to try to prevent those, creating a new mousetrap? Like those are the types of things MSSPs talk about.
But see,
MSPs
when you get
just resell a service.
So when you
right?
get to that level, right? And this is the topic that I've always struggled for Barricade Cyber. Like, are we an MSSP? Because we do that shit, right?
I would think
Granted-
you are, from what I know.
I would think so. Yeah.
I would
But
hope you are.
I would consider an IR firm in the MSSP space for sure.
Maybe so.
There's
Yeah,
a
I
difference between using your tools and just reselling tools. And I think that's the difference between what an MSSP is and what a VAR or an MSP with an added S is. Like if you're actually using them for the benefit of yourself and your clients, then yes, you probably are an MSSP.
And to add to it, what he says, I'm curious what would make MSSPs to add on to that. Training internal and hiring internal talent.
Processes,
right?
procedure, and people.
Yeah.
Those three things, and don't fucking use WebRoot.
Yeah, or we'll shit all over you,
Please
Joe.
don't.
No, like seriously. I mean,
Hopefully that answered all your questions.
use CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, or any of the big guys, Carbon Black. There's like 5 of them that are at the top tier, that are at the tip of the spear.
Well, and MSSP, you're looking at telemetry of behavior, right? I mean, MSPs don't do that shit, right? They're not looking at they're not looking at behavioral analysis and
but they have
factors,
they have something as a service that does that for them.
Yeah.
In a fucking.
I mean, Kenton, to be blunt, I don't know if I would ever want to be a SOC analyst. I mean, not saying it's gratifying work, but honestly, it is good work.
What pleases you?
I mean, seriously.
In a non-adult way, please.
And that is, I mean, it's absolutely true. I mean, what kind of pleases you? What makes you get your rocks off in the security space?
Yeah.
And it's not everybody's built for that.
From
I mean, honestly, I would have a lot more fun breaking into a house. I mean, I got a key locks pick set. I mean, it's fun to break into locks. I mean, I mean, it's fun. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is fun to break into things, but it's something. It's a totally different matter of saying I trust my locks and I want to make sure my locks work.
Eric, you want to try something a little different?
In a second.
I want to go to tip a spear.
What about
you're so drunk you can't even say it straight.
I'll take that.
Eric, what about Blackpoint Cyber?
Oh, fuck me. But look, I've already upset John enough for 1 year. Let's not do any more, please.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got an amazing VAM plan I'd love to share. I'm going to do the
full second. I'm going
to do the full CrowdStrike
stack. I'm going to put you in
paired with Blackpoint.
I'm going to put you in the green room. We'll get you in a second. So we asked for questions.
You want to make this a little more interactive, Eric? And this is your jam, so you tell me if I'm fucking crazy. We got a good question from Kenton here. Josh got some good questions. So let's bring Kenton up, fucking roast his ass. I'm sorry, answer his questions. And then we can bring Josh and Joel and whoever else wants to fucking come up.
Oh my God.
Make it interactive. This way we don't have to wait for them to type.
No, so Kenton, to answer your question, bud, there's more money in the defensive space, and there is more money spent in defensive than there is in offensive.
Would you say in the remediation space as opposed to the defensive space?
Oh yeah, definitely.
No one's spending any money on defense until they get fucked.
Exactly. Yeah. It is so.
Unless you properly. I mean, properly get properly teach your clients about the problems prior.
So
that's the only way I've been able to sell a lot of the defensive products. Mm-hmm. Truly.
So at Barricade Cyber, we have DFIR, Digital Forensic Incident Response. We have the blue team, and we also do penetration testing, both physical and remote. I can tell you.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
We do very little penetration testing anymore. Nobody really wants to pay for it.
Josh Eller is a fucking deep fake. He has no mic and no webcam. Andy, that shit you posted in Slack, he's one of them.
And see, I still don't even know if you guys are deep fakes. It's terrible.
We're all deep fakes.
Yeah, let me show
keep
you.
It in your pants, Shiva.
Thank you.
MSSP, I'll give you another one. Are you inspecting what to expect?
Are we
not-
inspecting what to expect? Drink a little more,
Yes.
Brian.
Well,
No,
Dude,
that's
you are
actually that's an
appreciating-
interesting
bottom line.
thought.
Like
That's an
inspect
interesting
what
thought.
to expect. You don't just install the security software and just say, okay, it's doing its job.
No,
I'm
that
going to
would make
install
you an
that
MSP.
security. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to install that security software and then inspect it to see if I'm getting what I should expect.
Look,
from
Okay.
it,
How
right?
do you do
Brian,
that? How do you do
he
that?
lets me know about it and I go test it.
Yeah, but you're our guy for that, right?
Oh, very true.
How do they do it? Other than calling Eric and paying him money.
Well,
Like,
these guys
seriously.
these
you
guys
can't do that when you're tied up in all the marketing
But
fluff.
see, that's also goes back to the same point that I was bringing up earlier is the bare minimum MSP. How do you inspect things to verify that the vendor is telling the truth?
Zero trust, man. Why would they
Again.
lie to you?
You know? Oh, so it's zero trust on the MSP's part. I don't know what you're selling me, but I'm
You
going to buy what
realize,
you're
like,
selling me.
correct me if I'm wrong here. But
You're wrong.
all these vendors selling zero trust are basically telling you to just trust them.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, they are.
Or in another way
lot of them.
that might actually work in court with the judges we have today. It's we told them
I
zero
guess.
trust because they shouldn't have trusted us at all. That's why we use zero trust.
No, but seriously, let's talk about this. Because I think this would be a lot of help to your listeners and your viewers, Eric, is that how do you vet your vendors better to deal with the tech
that's
debt
the biggest
and
problem.
all the other bullshit, right? Like, Eric, and it's up to you if you want to share this. I'm going to leave it up to you. But when the 3-4 of us or our group of people goes on a vendor call, we tend to ask questions that even the vendor's like, no one asks us this shit.
Mhm.
So it's up to you if you want to share it. If I had to share it, I'll fucking charge them. So it's up to you.
No, I mean, we just, we ask the simple questions like, who can see our data? Can we lock out? Is that auditable? I mean, when's your last penetration test? Do you have a bug bounty program or a vulnerability disclosure program? By the way, I've already found these 3 things since we've been starting to talk.
And no, we don't give a fuck about your SOC 2 Type 2 report.
No, we really don't.
How about, are you following like a new framework like OWASP on best practice for developing your software?
OWASP is bullshit.
Is it really bullshit?
Yeah.
Are we calling OWASP bullshit?
OWASP is a reporting mechanism for the latest vulnerabilities that happened in the past year.
All right, fair enough. But there's got to be some standards out there, right?
CIS.
Go with my man Joshua. Joshua is a man after my heart. Atomic red teaming.
I think if you want as Brian would say, an actionable compliance regime.
I knew it.
And I am not trolling here. Go with CIS. Because at least they're going to tell you what's fucked and how to unfuck it.
Well, what's cool about CIS is it's more technical too. So I feel engineers relate to it easier versus something like NIST that really is kind of a two-way conversation with the client in a lot of cases.
NIST is an analysis of controls.
Yeah.
Whereas CIS is, hey, fucktard, do this.
It's more of a technical approach to a framework,
which I
right?
think if you want to create the lowest common denominator, go with something like a CIS because, fuck me for saying this, it's actionable.
Yeah.
Like
it makes sense without you having to wrap your head around all the stupid
and
jargon.
a lot of what's in the CIS controls you should be doing anyway if you're an IT provider. If you're not doing those things, then give me your client's name so I can take them when you fucking get them ransomed.
No, here's the elephant in the room. If you're not doing those things, sleep less at night, because that's what happened to me as I learned more about security. I slept less at night because I realized all the things I wasn't doing and that I needed to start doing.
I'm happy you said that. Andy, I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Yes.
He went from one vendor to another, and that was his exact reason. He's like, now I can sleep better at night.
That was it, 100%.
And I'll leave you to decide if you want to say what the vendor was.
I originally had Bitdefender with their MDR and the EDR. Or not MDR. I went from Bitdefender with EDR and I looked at their MDR and I asked questions about their MDR to my reseller. And then I went and also contacted Shiva,
The strike of the crowd.
Who had been a very good proponent of CrowdStrike.
I have a question for you, sir.
Yes.
You had EDR on these computers.
Yes.
What were you doing with the EDR?
Basically, I wanted it to have a log and record of what occurred, what was touched, and how it was touched.
So you wanted to be held more accountable for the work
no.
No.
This is a loaded question, and I know
no, it's a proper question.
This is a loaded question to him because I knew what his answer would be.
Yeah,
which is stark contrast to the fuckers who take EDR on their clients, thinking it's actually going to do something for them.
Yes,
he wanted an immutable audit log for his clients.
But it does hold you accountable to things you may not be taken care of.
No, but that's the point. That is the point.
I am going to go out on a limb here. There's a distributor amongst us who sells SentinelOne Complete. Okay? CrowdStrike, I better get some fucking swag for this.
Yes. Where's my swag?
I got it.
They keep telling me, like, maybe.
This distributor has been selling SentinelOne Complete for years. $3 and something cents, whatever the fuck that peasant shit is. And because you have the ability to do threat hunting, hundreds or thousands of MSPs think they are getting threat hunting with it. When with SentinelOne, you have to buy the add-on that is SentinelOne Vigilance.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I bring this up is you have to know what your product is doing.
Yeah.
Just because something says complete doesn't mean it is. And this is not me taking a dig at SentinelOne because they didn't do this.
So
but there was a vendor positioning this product at a higher rate to their clientele, knowing full well it's just a fucking antivirus program because no one's looking at the logs.
So, I mean, you're speaking about sleeping better and purely my decision to
Blondes with double Ds.
Change vendors. Maybe.
I
gotta say yes. Brown, and I'm not gonna tell you the other portion.
Yeah, please don't keep things in private. I don't want you to come up dead by Monday.
Yes, I would prefer not to be dead on Monday. I gotta burn down my street. Don't forget. Don't report me to the FBI. But no, the whole reason I switched vendors was I inquired about the MDR product. I even spoke to Bitdefender's own product, in-house product specialists, and the main thing that got me was there is no ability to do any sort of threat hunting on post-fact scenarios. Meaning, if Bitdefender did not find it initially, then if it was not originally tagged as a potential threat or a problem, there is no way for me to find or go back and trace an event log or process log that had occurred.
Can we clarify that, if you don't mind?
Meaning, so say I open up notepad.exe, right? I save a file and close it out. That is considered as just a benign, no problems action. And Bitdefender EDR would not track the action of me opening a notepad.exe, saving the file as a file name, and closing notepad.exe.
And most EDRs keep that for what, at least 7 days?
There's a caveat with Bitdefender. If they don't flag it as an alert, they don't keep it.
Exactly. So that would not be flagged as an alert or anything within Bitdefender. And therefore me if say I got ransomware, right? My stuff got ransomware using Bitdefender and their EDR product, and it was not caught by their EDR product. I would have no knowledge about what had occurred using their EDR product at all. No file trace logs, no anything, because it wasn't caught originally by their EDR system.
Yeah,
and it was caught by their EDR, but it wasn't alerted on.
And that wasn't on their marketing material, right?
And it still is.
No. And that's why, because I went back and forth between. I mean, and that's essentially why I switched to CrowdStrike with their nice stack of things, because
CrowdStrike everything 7 days.
I do want to put something in context here that Eric, Andy, myself, and 3 or 4 other people sit in a Zoom all day, every day, shooting the shit with each other and talking about tools and all this other stuff.
Contemplating the end of the world scenarios day in and day out. I hate to say it, but you guys give me the fucking shivers sometimes.
Assholes. But I think I think where I want to go with this statement is the fact that we can give an opinion without worrying about feelings.
Yeah.
So if one of us sees the other person using a tool or a product they probably shouldn't be doing, we don't have to pussyfoot around it. We can say that product is shit. Here's why we think it's shit. Now it's your problem if you want to be actionable on that.
Now, don't get me wrong. Bitdefender did pick up on a shit ton of stuff. I think for what it is and the product that it provides at the price point that it is a good product. Okay. I don't want to shit on Bitdefender here, really. I just want to say that flat out, I think that is a hole in their EDR product that they need to fill. Yeah. And that is a hole that they were not going to fill in my time frame that I needed it to be filled. So
Eric, pop quiz, because you're Mr. IR.
Here we go.
Top 3 NGAVs, EDRs, MDRs, Kool-Aid bullshit.
That's all we need, Joel. That's all we need. Oh my God. Seriously. You know what? And then I might actually be able to get paid compensation by the U.S. government when all hell breaks loose.
But what happens if Saudi starts pricing oil in yuan?
Oh, we'll just get gift cards from the government for oil. Gotcha. And tax breaks, don't forget.
Oh, so finally those iTunes gift cards I got from the IRS will be valid. Got it.
Yeah. Either that or we just start shooting up gas stations instead of schools. But, whatever.
That just took a dark turn.
I'm not going further.
I'm not touching that one. I'll say a lot of shit, but I ain't touching that one. It's all you, buddy.
Well, I mean, the Supreme Court just ruled, everybody can have a gun now. Hey, let's go for it.
So, more questions,
Anarchy
anyone?
Coming.
Please give us questions so we don't have to listen to Andy talking about gun rights here, please. Thank you. Quickly, send it right now.
Make your own.
We're all going to get fucking canceled.
So let's. I want to get back to our overarching topic on tech debt, right?
Yeah, we're coming up on almost 2 hours of this fuckery, right?
I got time, man. Like,
I'm doing.
It's Fridays. I'm good.
And I've already got my wife.
I was not. Eric is a former Marine, as we said earlier today.
I've got my wife. I've got my wife asking why this podcast has taken so long too, because we share an office.
Hey, hold on a second. Hold on.
Dinner's not on the table yet. God damn.
I won't say your wife's name, but hold on. I won't say your wife's name, but just to pay you back. Can she hear us right now?
No.
Damn.
He's on headset.
You're so lucky because I'm going to tell her to get a metal can and some ice chips to drive you nuts.
Yeah.
Oh,
too true.
Rattling the ice.
Rattle the ice in the metal coffee container.
So,
Joel, what are you writing?
Policies and procedures. Oh, Intel report.
Josh, you asked earlier what the price for managed services should be. I would say it depends on what you're selling, your geography, and whether or not you want to drink the Kool-Aid that is one line item or just line iteming shit. If you're going to line item shit, your aggregate price should be in the... If you're going to line item shit and you're providing patching, security, and some other bullshit, you should be in the aggregate price of, I would say, $150 to $200. Boys, any concurrence here?
Somewhere right around there.
Per device and or per user, yes.
Yeah, whatever the aggregate adds up to be, whether it's, and that would include your Microsoft 365, your antivirus, your patching, your third-party patching, the Kool-Aid you're selling, and all the other bullshit you want to pile in there. And
no, I would not include like your 24-hour SOC or whatever. That's a bolt-on additional thing, right? This is.
I'll give you the layman's terms. What we do: $100 a user per month support, billed separately from our bundled services. About $50 a user. Does include SOC.
I will tell you that.
And then Microsoft licensing sold separately from that.
I will tell you that.
Add another 20 on that. So what? 170, 175.
For software and services, you're looking at about $100, whether it's per user, per line item, per whatever fucking bullshit it is. And then if they want all-in pricing for support in standard business hours, it's $100 per user per month, and it has to be for all users. They can't just choose for a few. And that gets me to that aggregate price of $200 or about.
Yeah. No, that's fair. I think that's right. Yeah, I would say you should be at least 150, if not 200.
I think people also have this opinion that the more expensive something is, it's usually better. and you can leverage that if you're willing to lose more.
But
than
please
you get.
don't be charging $150 to $200 and using Kaspersky or Webroot.
A lot of MSPs do that
A
though.
lot of them do
Okay,
that.
there's
And
one MSP that
I've
I've lost a client to, and they took out. Back then, I was using Sophos MTR, and they replaced it with Webroot.
Joel, you missed everything. We have
And the
declared
world,
World
and
War
the sun.
IV.
It's a good thing there's a fucking rewind button, Joel. I'm usually nicer, not really, but
No,
Joel's gonna give me he's gonna just start blowing up my LinkedIn a little bit. I'm sure.
Good. Throw every single hateful comment at Eric.
come on, boys, give us more questions. The juices are flowing. Unfortunately, the wrong
God.
type.
I will
Before
say,
too much
though,
longer,
I
his
have,
juices
I
are gonna
have
be flowing out
lost
the back end.
proposals.
S1,
at
Josh,
that
go
price
fuck
point.
yourself.
I mean, I have
Man
lost
up.
proposals at that price point. Be prepared to lose proposals around that area.
Yeah.
It is okay to lose them.
Well,
Be
that goes.
comfortable with it. Okay,
How-
be
oh,
comfortable with it
How
because
would
they-
I?
Ooh.
Oh, I like
That
this.
go-
You know what I
that
would
go-
do? I would call an Uber and pull the GPS tracker and put it on the fucking Uber.
that would be funny as hell.
That's what I would do.
That would be funny.
Back to the earlier question about taking on the right clients. If you take on stupid clients, what does that make you?
Stupid is, as stupid
It
does.
Yep. I mean, that's
Headache. A lot of
bottom
headache.
line.
Listen,
You take
you
on
need me
clients
on
that are
wall.
smarter
you want
than
me
you.
on that wall, and I need the clients who need me there and want me there.
Yeah.
Take on clients that are smarter
You're
than you
now?
that are going to help uplift your business. Then you're moving in the right direction. Don't
Joel,
take
you'll
on,
say that for the first 2 to 3 months.
Joel, let me
And then
tell you
after
something,
that, you will
sir.
hate yourself.
I'm looking at your comment that says rich, and I'm assuming you're talking about just getting rich clients. I've got clients of all sizes, as small as 5 and higher. And it's an education thing. It's about you being able to convey to them the necessity of a minimum baseline of security. And a minimum baseline of security costs money.
Mhm.
Even at the lowest rungs of pricing for an IT provider, you are probably go fuck yourself, Josh. Just go fuck yourself. Don't ask me about total and QoSing the internet. No, don't. No. Just don't fucking do it.
I've got mixed feelings on Total. I think it's priced too high.
You
but
would.
I like the product.
You
Then that's where you
would.
should dump it. But
To the green room.
back
Oh my god.
back to Joel. Here's the thing. I think it really comes down to having an honest to God conversation with your clients. And one of the things I tell my clients is that, yes, I'm probably more expensive than any bid you'll ever get. It's going to be painful for the first 2 weeks when your company has to operate under the IT standards I put in. But after that, you're going to forget I exist and you're not going to give a shit and you're going to be able to sleep at night.
Yep.
And that's the conversation I have with them. And I make it very clear the first 2 weeks, they're going to hate me because there's no local admin. You need a ticket for everything. And it's just how I roll. I'm not saying that's the right way. It's what's right for me because I charge enough that when a client calls me, I'm not grimacing. I'm smiling and saying, okay, they deserve my help because they paid me a good rate.
Yep. It's got to be a win-win on both parties.
And it also filters out those clients that you're wanting to fire later that you wish you would have never taken on in the first place, right?
Got
that
rid of 3
happens.
last year.
That happens, right? If you don't set your standards high enough, you're going to get those clients that are ultimately going to be time sucks.
Hold on,
You're
Josh,
you're
just
gonna
for you,
wish never took
$5,000 a
them
month.
on.
Eric, I think you should start up a fucking membership shit, man.
What is this? A GoFundMe?
Contact,
Oh wait, no, OnlyFans.
The only,
Eric, what's your OnlyFans?
I should start up an OnlyFans.
Hey, Josh, contact me on the side for discounts.
No, hey,
Joel
look,
has an OnlyFans client? Oh wait.
Brian's gonna make you watch his toes.
God.
No,
Red Cap
as
sitting
Andy
right
would
next
say,
to him,
Josh, we
too.
only take freedom dollars until
Just for
they're no
Moab.
longer petro dollars. Then we'll figure something else out. Apparently, I need to get this expensive room. Yeah, that's fine. Kenton, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about, asking better questions, but I don't know what you mean by
would you-
especially good
okay.
candidate with all kinds of flashy shit to get hired. I don't think
Are
I
you talking about,
talked
like,
about
selling
hiring
material?
I
people.
think he's talking about in terms of getting a pen testing job. Meaning.
Eric's the
meaning-
droid you're
meaning
looking for
Company
that
is
one.
is trying to get a pen tester to do things for them.
I think Eric is the droid you're looking for on that one.
Yeah,
Sir.
I think Eric's the better possibility there.
Like,
Ken,
I'll
if
just
you
tell you to
wanted-
fucking charge more. What to do? That's fucking Eric's call.
Yeah.
Ken, if you want to
My-
have an in-depth discussion, just go to barricadecyber.com and schedule something, and we'll talk.
Did you
Yeah.
put a paywall up yet, Eric? Because you probably should for this little fucker called Kenton.
OnlyFans.
Yeah, man, it's OnlyFans.
Oh, go to
OnlyFans.com/EricTaylor.
buymeacoffee.com/Eric Taylor or Eric J. Taylor.
Ooh.
Buy the
Oh,
man
yeah.
some coffee.
There you go. Or B.
I will throw in, not that I'm an expert in,
Joel, go live.
finding that job, but it's all about networking, brother. Find the right communities.
I think the four of us here will start a community just for you guys for $3,500 a month. It's fine.
And none of us have cross eyes either.
Oh God, that's just mean.
We won't tell you how to sell security. We'll tell you how to do security. God damn it.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that. We need to. You know what? Vendors always talk about how to sell security.
How to buy security from them. Buy security. That's a big difference.
How to buy this and sell it to your client.
Yeah.
But they're never really telling you how to do it properly.
Okay,
No,
I have a
YouTube
question.
sent
I have a
me-
question here. Sorry, Eric, go ahead.
So YouTube actually sent me a little while ago how I can create a members only on YouTube.
Yeah.
So maybe I create a members only and we just go through that.
I have a question here. Joel, Josh, and Kenton.
All of our people that are watching.
All three of you.
Yep.
I'm sorry, all 3,000 of you.
Yeah.
Are you IT providers? That means, are you selling to other businesses or do you work for internal IT? Josh, I'm thinking you're an MSP or you're a provider of some type. Joel, I'm thinking same thing. Kenton, I don't know. What's your story?
That's a good question.
Because at least this way we know how to target the answers.
Yeah, Joel, just like I just commented there, between our platform and it actually hits YouTube or LinkedIn or whatever that's streaming on, there's always a good amount of delay. That's
Probably
just
20, 30 second.
Yeah, that's the way restream it.
Okay.
See, we need to
So-
get on Twitch. That way we get that 2-second delay.
So
and that
Josh is an
everybody's used
MSP. All right, so I'm going to
Joel's
go
live.
with the assumption. Came here for Simply Cyber. I'm a uni student. Oh, so you don't fucking count.
Stop it. We
I'm
sponsorship
joking.
with
I'm
Cyber.
just playing. No, I'm talking about being a university student. Just starting work.
Everything you learn in university is already 5 years behind. No, I mean at least 2 to 3. But
I
it
don't
does
like
give you-
universities.
It does give you a good background. Okay.
No.
No. Okay, look, I went through computer science network security. Okay, that was my degree path. We used a lot of it gives you a lot of the fundamental understandings of exactly what a network is, how it actually operates, and how to attack the bullshit out of it.
Ooh, tech redneck.
Woohoo!
Are you
All right.
Hispanic? No. Okay.
He could be Texan. We're all sunbaked.
The challenging
redneck,
thing,
where are you from?
Especially this last week. Good Lord, 100+ all week.
I need your
challenging
mother's maiden
thing-
name, your dog, your first pet's name, and the last 4 of your social, and the state you were born in, please. Thank you.
Good God.
challenging thing about university is the old tech. When I went,
But I
when
will
went-
say the one thing about university that does do very good for you, especially if you pay attention and actually do the work, is it teaches you how to study and how to learn.
It's discipline.
If it's discipline, you learn discipline. It doesn't
So-
necessarily mean that you're learning current stuff, because honestly, I came out of there with 5 to 10 year old stuff, and there's nothing more frustrating than getting out of university or college or whatever you want to call it, depending on what part of the world, than coming out of school and being like, what the hell? I'm like 5 to 10 years behind.
Right, but I think
But-
in the tech space, that's the inherent issue with the degree is you're coming out with a fundamental
any
way of
degree.
how to do things and some
5 years
discipline.
behind is like 20 years behind in the tech space.
But that's because the
Seriously.
tech
You're-
space
you're 20
changes
years
at the
behind.
drop of a dime, right?
Yeah. Look at the NASDAQ. It's up and down, up and down, up and down.
I literally dropped out of college and made my mom cry because I was learning more working in the field than I was going to college. I would do my homework in college. They were
Yeah.
dealing with I was dealing with 486s in college when Pentiums were already out and
Yeah.
PCI slots.
How would I tech redneck?
Kenton,
and
how
all
would I
that
know you?
shit.
I do want to touch on something with Kenton. Listen, I'm not saying don't go to university. I'm just
No, yeah.
saying take it for what it is. Get the receipt that is your diploma, and understand that when you go into the workspace, you're
They
gonna have
give
to
two
learn
shits
a
about it.
whole lot more.
Yep.
But that degree will allow you to rise to sea level in most places. But
So-
make sure you
it's
learn
a
the
door
tech side.
opener. It is
Yeah.
a door opener. It is not.
I still call
Immediate
bullshit on
job.
that. There's tons of C-level execs in tech companies that do not have a
How old are
degree.
they?
A
Bottom
lot
line.
of them,
No, but I'm being honest. How old are they?
Brian, a lot of those are
C-levels
the
are-
exceptions to the rule,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like,
Nowadays, it is. You don't even get the fucking interview unless you have the paper.
yeah, like I mean, they want
But
12 years experience on
That
dull
was
shit.
that was the majority of my job opportunities was
That-
government contractors or firms that wanted 1 to 2 years of experience already with somebody else.
that's if you don't take advantage of networking. Bottom line,
If okay,
you get the
if you
right
go to
person.
a big school, you get the networking opportunities through the career services department. I don't know what school he's going to. I went to a small school. You get fuck all.
Yeah.
Okay, you get the ability to say, I mean, in most community colleges, most state-run colleges are like this. You get fuck all. You get the ability to say, hey, I want to go to this school, and then, or I want to go to this company. Hey, community college, can you try and find a job opportunity or an opening for me, or even an internship post graduation?
So
And I'm not saying that to be rude. It's just that is the fact of how it works now. It's
raise your
not-
hand if you
sucks.
think a master's degree today is the equivalent of a high school diploma in the 1970s.
I don't know about that. I would say a 4-year college diploma is definitely the high school diploma.
No, I would think it's a master's, and I'll tell you why. With the proliferation of student debt and the sheer number of for-profit universities that were accredited and were allowed to. Joel, what the fuck you want? You're raising your hand. It's fucking.
No,
spit it
he's
out.
raising your hand about the the degree, dude.
I'm joking. Don't get so sensitive.
There's a delay. Everyone
Sorry,
calm
children.
down.
But I think a master's degree, barring the discipline of actually staying in school for 5 or 6 years, it's useless now because, well, at least in the tech space. If you want to be an engineer, you want to be an
You-
accountant, a doctor,
you
all the
could
other yes,
take-
you need to do that stuff. But in
You
the
could
tech
take
space,
the same money you spend on that big university
And do a
go
Chris
to
Weiser
go
course?
go to a technical school and get
So,
some
hold on.
street creds.
Hold on.
Learn the
All
hard
right.
way. I went to school for IT. I never learned
Dude, I'm
about
gonna put-
business.
I'm gonna
I
put
learned
it on
about
here in a
business the
second.
hard way. Like you learn
Oh,
it.
so did
one
I.
way
I
or
mean,
the
I
other, right?
was never a business person.
So university is going to give you practical knowledge. If you're wanting to go,
practical.
No, I wouldn't
Theoretical.
necessarily say
Not-
practical, but
Joel-
I would say practical in the
I would
the only
say
practical sense I would
Knowledge
say
in a
is-
vacuum.
No, I mean, I
Knowledge in
would
a
say
vacuum.
the only practical sense is that it gives you the ability to understand how to properly intake information.
yeah.
The practical intake of information in an expedient manner.
Now, if you want to be a well-rounded individual, learning in different subjects and different,
Go to a bar once you reach 21. Seriously.
Universities will get that to you. If you're going for a CISSP, you're going to be a PhD.
But a
Something like that.
CISSP is a certification. It's not. You don't necessarily need a degree to get that.
No, but to
Technical.
get your CISSP, you've
Tech
got to
debt.
have college or enough years inside of the industry to be able to get that.
I have a question for you, Eric. Hold on, let me get ready.
Oh, speaking of West Virginia, my neighbors that just moved in, they're from West Virginia.
How many
quite interesting.
CISSPs
I
you
love them.
know
They're
that
pretty
are
good
absolute
people.
fucking idiots
A lot.
relative to the ones that are not?
Because all they were given was that practical knowledge that Eric's talking about.
Well, let's talk about something. There's 2 phases to a CISSP. There is the written portion that you get. Then you're supposed to go out and be a
Yep.
practitioner of it for a while and go back for another type of exam. And a lot of the CISSPs that are around today took the first test.
Yeah.
And they didn't go get the practical knowledge to balance it out and take the second test.
Yeah, A+ is now comprised of 5 different tests, whereas previously it was just 2.
So are we talking about these CISSPs should be dealing with CEUs every year, right? To like renew and talk about the fact that they're keeping up with the latest, or what?
They're supposed to. They're supposed to take CEs, continuing educations. They're supposed to. Do they? Fuck all if I know.
Okay, so let's make this personal here in this room. How many of us take CEs?
In which way?
However continues your education, because the second part of that question is, what do you do for your CE?
Well, I said CEUs, which are continuing education units that go towards a credit of some sort of license or certification.
I don't care about the accreditation. My
continuing education is something different, right?
Because honestly, continuing education could be a lot of different things. I mean, because it could be news, it could be tech articles, it could be just, I don't know, Googling
and that's
bullshit.
That's why I'm asking, because
that's what I'm getting at.
I want people to understand what we do.
CE?
Like for me, I read a lot, and I'm sure you guys do. Like, I'll read Microsoft articles, I'll read this. I have an entire Feedly thing that I go through hundreds of articles a day, whatever it is. But my point is that I think CE, not CEUs, as Brian put it, should be about you bettering yourself and keeping informed of what's going on in your area of operation.
Yeah, so for me, it's more and more sans crap because I like to overpay for everything. But we're also a sponsor of Simply Cyber every Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Hit Gerald, and sometimes I'm on there and stuff like that. But you can get half a credit just by listening to CISO series and being up to date. So, if you want a quick, easy one, do Simply Cyber. Pretty cool little podcast over there.
Tech Redneck, you seem like a very interesting person to talk to.
Ted, Greg, now that I know who he is
because one of my largest clients and my dad has done a lot of instrumentation controls and also industrial control systems. And I know exactly somewhat of what you're talking about and the networking that's required behind them. And is quite interesting, especially nowadays. So you'd be a really interesting person to talk to.
I'm seeing a bromance happen in here right now.
No, it's just a matter of like I know that industry space, and it's
you can find Andy in Texas. What city in Texas? Where can he find you?
No, we're not doxing Andy.
We're not doing that, man. Oh man.
All right, gentlemen. Are we good for today? I mean, we're like, what, 2 hours and 15 minutes?
17 minutes? Yeah, it is.
No idea.
It is freaking crazy, man. Well, anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in and hanging with us for such a freaking long time. We do definitely appreciate it. Please share this information with somebody if you found value, or you just want to send trolls our way, what the fuck ever, right? So this has been long overdue. It's been almost 2 months since we had one of these venting sessions. So I think
3 weeks.
It's been a little while.
Has it?
So,
God, wonder where.
But anyway, the early days with But all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for tuning in. We will get the next one scheduled up here in the next couple of weeks. Until then, take care.
See you. Oh well.
There once was a kid whose passwords laid across all sites, they were the same. A criminal then found their fame by taking that data to go. Soon may a criminal come to steal your pictures and data and run. One day when the crime is done, they'll steal your account and go.